I was thinking at first to like put a couple words about you guys, but I think it's better if you guys tell everybody who you are, because if people don't know who you are, I mean, that's a problem.
I got baseball card stats here.
You have the research?
I have baseball card stats.
You created research for this?
Yeah,
Yes.
we have everything.
Oh, I'm dying to read it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't want you to read it. Yeah.
We dug in your trash can so long before you got here. You have no idea what we have on.
I just want to read off these numbers because they're impressive.
Okay, please
and
go
they're
ahead.
probably outdated, and you'll
And let's
probably
see if they're
correct me.
wrong or right.
So you reach 3.2% of the world's population.
That's on the website.
I know it is.
That's correct.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Over 20 billion video impressions.
Correct.
Wow.
60 million followers.
Correct.
And 100% organic.
That is literally, you took the sentence
I
on
know.
our homepage.
What do you think research is?
That's not research. That's plagiarism.
We didn't get to what we found in your garbage can yet. We're gonna get
Oh,
to it.
shit.
Listen, I'm just trying to make you look good. That's why I take it off the website. If I did other research, then I wouldn't have made you look as good. But that's impressive. That's 3.2% of the world's population is mind-boggling as a content creator.
Yeah, and especially that includes China. If you remove China, it's probably 5%.
How do you know? How do you know what you have in China? They don't.
We have nothing. Well, no, we have 400K in China, but we don't really count it
Yeah.
because it's for us. It's
can't
like a
really
black.
see it,
It's a
yeah.
black hole.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why is that? Just because you can't track?
Language barrier, different platforms. It's a different internet. It's a completely different internet.
That's so.
Interesting.
When you say you have 3.2%, and I was watching Iced Coffee Hour.
Oh, you were.
Yeah, of course. That's actually when I was trying to like model this talk show style, this business. Like
Yeah.
that was one of my go-tos for sure because I love all of
Wow.
Graham Stephan's content, and I was interested in the conversation that you were having about where your reach is and where your actual audience is, because we're so North American centric in our minds that it is like a handicap for a content creator for sure.
Super.
When I put out content, like when we put out the show, we're English. That's it. Like just English. So walk me through like sort of like the gamut of different audiences that you put out content to. And even I think on his show, I think his co-host is Jack, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
yes.
He didn't even know who you were. Like he's like he's like I just started watching you, or the production guy.
The production guy, yeah.
That's right. And that's mind blowing. So that just shows like how with 3.2% of the world's population, you still haven't really effectively gotten a ton of traction in the U.S. It's like mostly other places comparatively,
Yeah. Well, we have 1% of the country following us.
which is still insane.
We have like 3 million or so. So if you take it out of everybody, that's 1%.
Is it combined, both of you?
No, she has different as well.
Different.
She has another 3 million.
I'd say, and of my 3 million, I think 1 million are US. It's a third US.
Yeah.
A third U.S.
That's a lot.
It's a ton.
Yeah.
It's just the thing is, when you look at the world as one, the United States is 4% of the world. So if you truly care about the world, then your audience should be only 4% American. And our audience is, let's say, 5-6%. So we're already indexing over average. But there's just.
But I think the reason it's because it's in English, right? So you assume that your content is in English.
Content
You're gonna
creators are
have-
ignorant. I think I'm like
Yeah.
99%.
Well, to
US
be
or
fair,
whatever.
You're 99% US?
No, I'm like 90% U.S., like 10% Canada.
Holy cow.
Well, but that's the thing.
Monetizable.
Like, you have to understand, your content goes around. You've been in more countries than there are countries in the world. You've been to more countries, right? Pretty much. So everyone that would see your content in English that speaks, I mean, if you go to Bulgaria and you're going to talk about Bulgaria, Bulgarians are going to see it because
That's
it's going to
correct.
trend over there.
Yeah.
So you're going to have it very dispersed around the world. And I think what's interesting for me is that when I look at all your videos, I ask myself, how you're not afraid going into North Korea for
Yeah, that's
content?
wild.
This is. I would not have the guts, and I think you went with your Israeli passport
Yes.
to North Korea.
Yes.
How do you do something like? And how is your parents allowing you to even do that?
So, here's a fun fact that nobody knows. I went to North Korea before Nas Daily. So, I didn't go there
Famous.
as a famous. I went there as just a normal citizen, an Israeli passport, guided tour, see the country, and get the hell out. And then I got the footage, and then literally 5 years later, I said, let me talk about my time in North Korea.
Oh my
And then
God.
that just went viral. But, I wouldn't go back there again.
Wow.
So that's dead.
Yeah.
No more. But you should go back.
no, I want to go.
You
to
would
North-
love it.
I mean, I've wanted to
Wow.
go for many years. It's just
You're not
hard.
Concerned? They're not concerned that somebody could Google you and see who
Well,
you're
I wanted to
associated
go
with.
before I had Dear Alyne. So
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to, Iran and North Korea. That's actually how we started dating. One of our first messages was about how I'd seen he went to North Korea, and I was like, oh, I really want to go. I mean, I wouldn't
And
be
when
worried.
a girl
It's-
messages you saying, take me to North Korea, you know she's the one.
No, now I still wouldn't be worried. I feel like people do terrible research. I mean, I went to Lebanon and I'm literally half Israeli and my dad's name is Amihai Tamir. And as you
What
enter,
passports do you hold?
I only hold US, but you're still not allowed. You can't have ever visited Israel, and I've visited Israel over 30 times. And I speak Hebrew, and my last name is Tamir. And they ask you on every paperwork to enter Lebanon before you enter at the border, what is your father's name? What is your father's name? Amihai means my nation lives. Israel lives. And I just put that his name is Amy. Amy.
How do you?
And I
Women
went.
are brave.
They
I
are.
would never do that.
Well,
They
she's
figured it
braver
out, but
than
after
am.
I left. So
Wow.
Yeah, there's a whole controversy about her. Like the whole country was like angry. It's like, how did we allow an Israeli person in our country?
they thought I was a spy, but I just wanted to go to a party.
Oh my God. How was the party?
It was okay.
But the larger vision, I think, this is what I hope people see out of this podcast is, for God's sake, the world is bigger than Wisconsin. It's bigger than baseball. It's bigger than NFL. I mean, it's nice. It's amazing. Yeah, everybody here has a lot of money, but Thailand is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think being cultured it really comes down a lot to what you actually watch in content. If and we spoke about this a couple times on our show where you kind of like learn that you lure into your own box when you watch social media, and we're talking about this. If you're Republicans or Democrat, that's the content you're going to be provided, and then you think the whole world is just like you until you see the other side, because that's what. But then when you watch your shows, and I kept saying, we need more Nas, we need more Alyne in the world, because you get to see nothing but positive about all those other countries, those forgotten countries, because you wouldn't hear about them otherwise. You would think that Honduras is extremely dangerous. But then I watched one of your segments, and you're saying, no, it's not. It used to be, but not anymore. And look at this now. And it's like, okay. Let's open up. Let's
No
go.
information, right?
Yeah, no information. And who else is going to do it? I mean, the Honduran government is not going to go and reach every person like you. So this is a great platform that brings a lot of good to the world and connect people better than what Facebook was meaning to do. I think Facebook was meaning to connect, but in retrospect, I think not trying to. They divide by part people with their platform, unfortunately. So.
Unintended consequences.
Unintended consequences.
Question:
Yes.
When you started as a content creator, either of you, you chose probably in my opinion, one of the most difficult things to capture in terms of your content. I mean, you literally have to go around the world. So, what's day one as a content creator for you, and how did it evolve into eventually having to jet set across the globe to film content?
Yeah, so he was just telling me about his first ever box. The first ever BoxyCharm box was, crazy expensive and crazy unpractical, right? And similarly, the first video you make is just stupid. The first 270 videos we made were just stupid. They
By
were
the way,
about
did you guys
nothing.
know each other from the beginning, or?
After 58 days.
Oh wow.
Day 58, we met.
Okay.
It's so we know exactly how
You
many
timestamp
days.
everything?
Everything's timestamped.
I love that.
Even my T-shirt, right? I started at 32%. Now I'm 40%.
Explain your T-shirt. I've listened to this story a few times, but I can't just assume the audience knows everything that I know since I've done my research reading your website. So
Very simple. There's only two people that know when you're going to die: God and Google. God you cannot talk to. Google says you're going to live at 76 on average because you are male and you live in America. Great. I'm 30 years. 30 out of 76 is 40%. So on average, I'm 40% done with life. And on average, you're 50% done with life, and you're what, 70, 75? 80%?
Oh, wow.
I just read. I'm like,
62.
that's
I'll be
incredible
62
shade,
next
but you know
week.
what? He's the guest. I'll let it go.
And your house was 250.
Yeah, how old are you?
I'll be 45 at the end of October.
Okay. Amazing. It's just the white hair, but the
Yeah,
skin
yeah.
looks 30.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the beauty industry. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know anything. I remember where you did the video, Alyne, the pink tax. And it's little things that you don't notice until you notice, right? And it's just more brand power. Where, in a nutshell, what you said is, look, you look at the razor. If it's made for women, it's the same exact razor. It does exactly the same thing. One is pink, one is blue. The blue is for men, the pink is for us. But that's 14% more expensive. right? Is it still a thing now? Did you notice that it made any different after you posted?
I think people know about it more now. So I think it's still a thing because it's something that marketing companies are not going to want to lose that edge. So I haven't studied the stats lately, but if I were to guess, I would actually guess it would be even worse now. Like it would be even more extreme, but at least more people know about it. Like that video got 50 million views or something crazy that I know of, and I haven't checked lately.
Usually the only reason it would change is if you pick up on a particular company. You go to Procter & Gamble, and it's all dedicated to Procter & Gamble product, and then P&G gets the pressure. Otherwise, it goes up into the air.
That's
Everybody, nobody answers. So it has to be direct on one brand. They're going to say, we're going to change, we're going to do that. And then the other companies are to follow because it creates a chain effect.
Exactly.
Maybe that's the next video.
Is putting pressure on specific companies. I'm retiring. Someone else needs to do it.
Have you ever? But most of the stuff, most of the content that you create, it's not negative. It's mostly just awareness, right?
Yeah, only 1 out of 20 videos is negative. Maybe 1 out of 15, 1 out of 25.
What's a negative video, for example?
A negative video is when somebody attacks us. It's a lot of the time it's self-defense, really. So if somebody comes out and says, Nas Daily, you're an Israeli spy. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, bro. I'm not. And
Did somebody come out and said that?
No, they
They
did.
have it multiple times.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah,
Wow.
His dad thought I was an Israeli spy when we started dating.
No, he didn't.
You literally told me that.
It was a joke.
How much you have... They said a lot of things about me.
Are you an Israeli spy? I mean, honestly, if I was the Israeli government, I would
We have to
totally
figure it
Time will
out.
find...
tell.
We're gonna
Time will
figure it
tell.
out.
I would
Honest
find an
story.
attractive woman. I would make her fall in love with this guy, and then it's
How do you think we've been dating for 6 years?
You're not
How do
doing
you
a
have
good
so much
job of
money?
staying under the radar.
So I saw actually a video where you're going to this conference about climate change, and this
Davos.
guy came Davos, and then someone came. What is your emission? A lot, okay? We're a company. That's what we do. That was so good.
That's an example. Somebody came to the street to me to call me a hypocrite because I fly to go to a climate change conference, and I thought, wow, this is a great opportunity to make a video that's not necessarily positive, but it's a good educate. I love bad publicity. Bad publicity is amazing, and you guys need to have some of it. Honestly,
We're doing our best. We're
your
punching
record-
people off the street for no reason. We're doing our best, but it's still not.
Yeah, your record is too clean.
Yeah, too
It
clean.
is,
I know.
100%. See, even we brought in liquor, so we'd all be rambunctious, and we don't do anything
You
wrong.
didn't do anything with
We're
it.
just better friends. No, it's true.
No, but you know what he did when
have to argue
when that
more.
guy was going after him? At first he thought he's a nice guy, so he was nice to him. But then he said, even though the guy was trying to cause him a problem, he didn't want to go and mention his name because he didn't want to use his platform to go and cancel a person. Which that's something that I've noticed. You're not going to go and ruin someone's life even if he's in the wrong, because you don't want to use that power that you built. And most people don't do it. I mean, I've listened to Dan Bilzerian saying, "Oh, the internet is bad," but one time this guy didn't deliver the pizza on time, and you know what? We blocked his account.
Here's his home address.
That's a power trip.
Yeah, that's
a
not
power
right.
trip.
Yes.
I'm so glad you noticed.
Yeah.
You can judge a content if it's good or bad based on the comments under it. If the comments are, yeah, I agree with you, fuck that guy, then you have problems with the content. But if the comment section says, yeah, fuck you, Nas Daily, then that's okay.
You know why people play into that though, because that's how you build this toxic community. But that type of content usually gets more organic reach than
Correct.
happy content, educational content, even this controversial stuff. I mean, look at the Alex Joneses of the world, right? He has tons of followers and his stuff is crazy as shit. Even when a creator that is more mainstream brings on controversial guests like a Joe Rogan, you see those ratings go through the roof.
Yeah.
Even when I think if you look at the other mainstream creators, London Real. London Real was a great interview show, and he brought on a conspiracy theorist, and then his ratings. David Icke. His ratings went through the roof, and that show got 10x every other show. So it's tough as a content creator to create this truly engaging, meaningful, non-controversial, generally helping out the world be a better place, because it doesn't get that reach. And you did that for 270?
270 times
before you actually hit.
Before it blew up, yeah.
When you blew up, how many did you get on that one video
So
that changed
on
your
day
life?
270, I had 100,000 followers. On day 271, I had 300,000 followers.
Oh.
So 3x in one day from one video.
Wow.
That's the beauty of the internet, is that it's not a linear line. It's this, that
And then bam.
What was the video?
some stupid like tourism video. How cheap is Thailand? Come visit Thailand. It's an amazing place. This is how cheap it
Interesting.
is. That's it. And then every American was like, "Oh, let's go to Thailand, girl." You know, like.
You know, I feel like what you created in terms of traveling is that a lot of people are doing that now. I see so many short form content on if you go to Italy to this place, don't forget to visit this restaurant. They have amazing, and that's what those people do all day long. We actually brought in a guy that he doesn't do it. His name is Alvaro, and he travels with his girlfriend. And all they do is take phenomenal pictures of the hotel, so they get to be in for free. And that's it became really more of a thing. So I think the question I got behind this is: do you feel it's a supply and demand challenge that you guys might be facing? Because people look at your format and they say, "Oh, you know what? Let's do the same. Let's mimic in one way or another with some derivatives into it." And now there's just tons of the same. And people who didn't know you in the beginning, it's just like, "Oh, you know what? Let's go and look at this one." Do you feel the same?
What do you
Supply and
think,
demand?
No. I mean, what Nasir or I do are completely different. There's very little, look at this hotel, look at this location. What we both do and our category does is provide a unique angle or perspective, right? So the pink tax is not look at this pretty location, right? The videos he does now are human stories. It's an angle, right? I can take.
But you don't feel like there's some other people that do the same on the human angle?
No,
Competition,
it's
basically
so
competition.
no. It's so hard to find the right angle on a video. We literally try to teach people. We both have courses and academies. We want them to
go
do
and
it.
do the
We
same.
want competitors. They're not really competitors.
So how do you get people to go and watch your show? What do you guys do? Like I noticed that you guys
What's the
invested
angle?
about $1 million in an academy, on a project, right?
Yeah, that's separate. Like we say, how do we get views?
Okay.
How do you
You
get
said,
views?
the question, how do you get
what's,
views?
okay,
How to
so
go viral.
what's the thesis for the content that hits?
It's very. You go ahead.
I would say relatability. So it needs to be relatable. Provide a new angle, right? Say something that hasn't been said before. I would say those are the main two things that make our content do well.
And then
Relate-
something new.
Angle.
How do you get to be relatable?
I mean, you have many techniques. So for example, he did a video about coffee. We were in Albania. We did a video about the country with the most coffee shops per capita.
Albania?
And instead of, Albania,
You
my
didn't
favorite
know that?
country.
Yeah, I did know that.
See, first of all, finding a unique piece of information. Most people would never bother Googling this information. No one's going to tell you that on the street. You need to do your research. Most people will never research. They'll just look at what's in front of them and make a video about what they can literally see in
This is
front
a
of them.
nice mountain. Come to visit Albania.
Look, Albania has this place. Look, it has the home of Mother Teresa. They're not going to research like we will research. That's number one. Number two is, for example, the video title is the country with no Starbucks. So Starbucks is the relatable link. An American doesn't know where Albania is, doesn't care. They don't care. But if you say the country with no Starbucks, they care about Starbucks. Why don't
So
they
you
have
put something
Starbucks?
in the public domain, the name, like it's a big brand sells, it's trending brand. You said, okay, now that's going to be our hook.
Yes.
And then you said, now why? And then you said, okay, it's because there is no need, there's too much coffee.
But there's also like
Yeah.
it's the title should be a bizarre claim, something bizarre, like why is this mosque named after Jesus?
Oh.
Ooh, there's a mosque named after. Does Jesus have a
Interesting.
mosque? You want to click? Why I live next to a hospital? Oh, why do you live next to a hospital?
But
What do
don't you
have?
think that it's to a point teachable, to a point it's not as teachable as kind of like some people were wired different that can come up with something different than others were. Not everyone were made the same, right? I mean, we play basketball, but we can make it to the NBA, right? So it's
Yes,
just
there's an element of
100%,
that.
right?
That's why there's a term called artist or creativity, right? It's like, can you create something from nothing that's unique? And most people can get to 30%, 70% quality, but the people who get to 100% of your quality or 150%, you got to hire them.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that's the one you hired.
Yeah, you got to work with them.
Yeah.
So you do have a moat around your type of content because I mean, like it's not easy for somebody who's in a job to just go all over the world and film. So when you like say in your academy, so what would you teach an early content creator so that they can at least start?
So I believe we are heading towards the and economy, which means, now in the past, you could only be a doctor or a lawyer. It was the or economy. In the future, you can be a doctor and a creator. a lawyer and a creator, a real estate agent and a creator. So this and economy is like, yeah, we teach you how to do the and. So you can still keep your job on the side, on the weekend, create content to fulfill your heart. And then during the weekday, just make money using your job, right? That's the future we're heading towards. We don't want everybody to quit their jobs and go and travel the world and stay at 5-star hotels. Not everybody wants to be in front of the camera. Some people just enjoy working behind the camera, and that's okay too.
But you're still saying, so at least start to create content outside your 9 to 5. But then content can be anything. Content can be blogging, content can be podcasting, content can be filming video, right?
Yeah, there's so many different formats. And I would say the number one thing for people who want to be an actual creator themselves in front of camera is to find something that only you can talk about. Because a common mistake we see is that somebody tries to make a video that writes a script that you could read.
Exactly.
That's not a good idea. So you are a male, Israeli, whatever you are, who sold a company.
Whatever you are.
Whatever the hell you are.
I don't know your full background maybe, but only you can talk about liquidity. I can't talk about liquidity. I can a little bit. I sold a small company.
But you can talk about liquor.
I could talk about barely. I was Mormon. Okay, I could say, I was Mormon, and I can talk about liquor as someone who never drank alcohol before age 27. That's unique to me. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. So you need to talk about, you are Canadian. Only you have the experience of being a white man. Okay.
Wow. In Canada, shoveling snow.
Shoveling snow. I never had snow in LA.
Yeah, it's snow in Miami.
I don't think I ever want to put that PTSD that I have on anyone else in the world. They don't have to deal with the snow.
But you know what I mean.
I get what you're saying. Exactly. Yeah.
You have to have a reason to speak.
And come from your past, your experience, your learned experiences, your authentic self. Everything that people say, all the buzzwords, but
they're true.
They're true. They're very true. So maybe what's your how did you get into content creation? And actually, let's do origin stories, because I knew you quit a job at Venmo, right? Yeah. And then what's your content or both of your content origin stories?
You want to go first?
Sure.
Ladies first, yeah.
Ladies, thank you so much.
Because you're actually you are now full time, so you essentially took the leap at one point.
So technically, I was in content before Nasir, but in a very different way. So I grew up in LA. I went to film school in high school. I love video. Then I went to BYU because I was raised Mormon. So Brigham Young University, a religious university. And at BYU, I ended up getting married to another Mormon. Thank you. And I was married, and my ex-husband and I created a company together that essentially did content for other companies. So like for Pizza Hut or for Sony. And we were not on camera. We were doing ideating, marketing, and it was all organic. The license plate of our car was literally YouTube. That was our license plate. Okay. So this was hardcore. Yeah, it was very hardcore. Yeah, literally YouTube driving. I don't know how that's legal, but we got it somehow. So we had that company, we built it together. And then when we got divorced after 3 years, we sold the company to our partners. And that was kind of my introduction to content online. Then I met Nasir about less than a year later after my divorce. I was interested in becoming a full-time creator, and I was on that journey. He was on that journey as well, getting started. We were both kind of, I would say, in a similar place, beginner creators. And then we started traveling together. I had my background in corporate, making viral videos for big companies. He had his background, and he started making videos. I was doing more Instagram and blogging. I was helping him with his daily videos. He was growing. I was trying to control his content, and I was like, make a video about feminism, make a video about vegetarianism, make a video about women traveling. And then one day he was like, just make your own videos. Stop trying to control my videos.
Thank God she did.
So that's how I started Dear Alyne, was more out of necessity.
I can imagine you trying to go and do a lipstick video now. Like, this is the best lipstick in
and this goes back to what we were saying, is there are some things I cannot speak on.
Yeah.
I cannot speak on women's periods, right? But she can. I cannot speak on animal rights because back then I wasn't vegetarian and I didn't care. She can. So that's why I believe everybody should speak up on their own voice. As to my background is, look, I grew up in your country. Mm-hmm. And in Israel, we have many, many problems. I grew up as a middle child. I don't fucking matter, right? I'm just an Arab. in a village with not
middle
much.
child is not important.
What?
A middle child is not
Yeah,
important.
middle child is the least important. It's like statistically.
true?
Yeah, statistically.
really?
You know, yeah, middle children are not.
So funny.
But you don't have a middle child.
I'm
you
a
have
single
two.
child. I have two
You have
kids.
two. Yeah. So 2 kids, no middle child. But when you have a third, if you have a third kid, that becomes problems.
Interesting.
Anyway, and so I've had no voice for the majority of my life. I did not matter on any stage, even with a Harvard degree. And so I think I started to create content because I was fucking angry.
Weren't you living in the US after Harvard?
Yeah.
You moved to.
I still didn't matter.
No way.
Yeah, at my company, I was a bad engineer. Nobody listened to my opinion. It's just like
Interesting.
You're just a fucking,
cog.
You're like a cog in the system.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm fucking angry, and I was like, I'm just gonna take my anger and put it in a 1-minute video. And anger is a
Do
great.
you still have those
motivator,
videos?
What?
Do you still have those first videos you recorded?
Yeah, they're on the internet.
Okay, I gotta
forever,
go find.
I hope. Yeah.
Angry Nas.
Like a rotate type that would delete everything you made. Huh?
Oh yeah, no, not yet. No, I'm not canceled yet.
So angry software engineer. Okay, so
Angry software engineer, and then you end up with Nas Daily, right? But the videos are not angry, right?
No, I know.
But it's just like, I think what is the thing that drives you to do things? It's really frustration, I think, is the biggest motivator. And I'm still frustrated with the way the world works. That's why I want to make more videos.
Do you think that that chip on your shoulder pushed you through those first 270 days?
Yeah. I still have a chip on my shoulder. We were just talking about this. Like, even with 60 million followers and millions of dollars, I still think I don't matter. And I still think that if I don't work twice as hard as all of you on this fucking table, I will get nowhere because I have worse cards, right? I'm less attractive than you. I'm less white than you. I'm less attractive than you. And, when we met, I was less rich.
She did mention you're less attractive than her, by the way. She did say that.
She did say that,
She
right?
was talking about this.
She said we're different
That's
leagues.
not true. He's making up things.
He's not making up things. I believe him. He's not making. He just spilled the beans.
I mean, it's
Sweetie,
true, but
we
he
are
was making
equally
that up.
attractive.
Now,
We are equally. You said this literally today that
we
we're
are
equally
almost
attractive.
equally attractive.
We're in the
almost.
same league.
We're in the same
I'm not even
league.
touching.
I'm
We are
saying nothing.
almost-
I don't even speak English that good. Like, I'm not from Harvard. I'm a community college over here.
Almost.
Anyway, do you guys think we're equally attractive?
Yes.
Wow. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. See, I love
good.
this.
Let me tell you
good.
something about being attractive. Let me tell you something about being attractive. Okay, I think that brain is everything.
He's like, as an attractive person.
An attractive person.
No. I guess
attractive people.
no. In general, about people, not about me. Okay, because I know I am. I don't need anyone
I
to
love
tell
your
me that.
position
But
of authority.
I love the
I
confidence.
think being attractive is being confident, and I think brain makes a lot of it. The first impression is just the first impression. By the end of the day, there's a lot more. So if someone has insecurity over their look and feel, build everything else you have. I think that when you look at someone like you, right? Men that succeed is considered attractive by the eye of women. Okay, success makes a man sexy, right? Tell me if I'm wrong.
Is he wrong, sweetie?
In general, okay, success
yeah.
on a man
Yeah.
makes him look sexy for other women. It doesn't have to be all.
That is correct statement.
This is a statement that I did not come up with. I'm picking up someone else's verbiage. Tell me if it's right or wrong, right? But I felt like there is something to do with that, because by the end of the day, women would look at the top predator, right? It's just what they're looking for, right? And a person who made something bigger than most, which look at what you built, right? It is something attractive for everybody, right? It's attractive for men that wants to go and talk to you because you're saying, well, I am talking to Nas, right? I'm talking to you because it is a big deal. Like, not every person does it. So it's going to attract people in one way or another. So both of you guys are very successful. I don't want you guys to fight over here. We can fight after. I'll give you some alcohol.
Anyway, thank you for saying we're equally attractive.
Yeah, 100%.
all I got out of this.
How do you?
That's all he is.
That's all you have to take away.
I don't know what he said, but oh my God, that's all I heard.
How do you find working together as both content creators? Do you think it adds to a relationship? Like
It
working
detracts.
together, like always creating, always like sort of working towards not similar.
No,
same
I think
goals?
being in the same industry is very good.
Yeah.
And very important. Yeah. Because we can actually talk about it and it's interesting. And I mean, I broke up with a boyfriend in college because he wanted to be a doctor. And I was like, there's no way I'm dating a doctor. I'm never going to marry a doctor. I don't want to talk about doctor things. I don't want you at work all day. I don't want you coming home at 11 p.m. tired. That's literally why we broke up. I was like, can you not be a doctor? And he was like, no. So I was like, all right, have a nice life. So this is great.
And who's going to save you, sweetie, when you need a surgery?
I'm going to pay someone.
Probably the same guy.
I'll pay him. He can save me at the hospital like everyone else. I don't need him in the house.
Yeah,
with
but
me.
you're buying a lifestyle, right? You're buying a lifestyle and you're saying that's not for me. That lifestyle, I know the kind of travel, the kind of journey you have to be to go a doctor. Like
I want someone to hang out with
for
me.
100 years, yes. Yeah.
Well, but I don't hang out with you because I'm at work until 11.
You misled me when we started dating. We traveled together 24/7. And then you became a business person. I would not have dated you if you were a business person.
How long you've been together?
6 years.
6 years.
How do you balance that though? Because if you want to live in a major urban area, if you want to live in a major city, you want to afford a nice lifestyle. I don't know if you want kids or not or whatever you want. But I mean, even with or without kids, you need to make good money, and good money usually comes with a significant amount of time invested. So how do you say I don't, or is that not important to you? Is lifestyle more important than I like income level?
I like a nice, income level or a nice lifestyle, but I mean, I don't think you need $500 million to have a nice lifestyle. Like,
yeah, bro.
It's fine.
It just came. I didn't get $500 million.
There's nothing wrong with $500 million. There's nothing wrong with working hard. So what's ended up working for us is that, first of all, I go to therapy every single week, and half of what I talk about is our relationship to keep it afloat. Mm-hmm. I have to adjust my personality because my personality is, when we started dating for, I would say 2 to 3 years, we spent almost 24/7 together, right? We were traveling together. We were working together. Everything was together. It was not actually great because of the lifestyle. So because we were doing one video a day for his channel, it's exhausting. You're traveling. Imagine like a 2-week vacation, but you're working every single day 24/7. And now 2 years
and a half.
You can never pee. There's no time to pee. There's no time to make friends. There's no time for, conversations.
Relaxing.
Yeah. So our relationship is much better now, actually.
So here's my 2 cents on working together with your significant other. It's difficult for us to do it. We could not do it. The reason we could not do it is because in our relationship, we are equal. Right? What she says is equally as important as what I say. But at work, we're not equal. I am a bit higher because I'm the CEO. And then basically she has to do what I say, if things get trouble. And so we started to have this like weird relationship where it's like,
because with my ex and I, we had our company together and we had equal ownership and equal equity and equal everything. And it worked amazingly well. We worked great together. There was 0 problems at work. But with him, it's his company. He has all of it, right? So for me, I'd be like an employee, which no work well, no employee.
How does that? So how do you manage it? So I totally get it. Like I'm just imagining like my girlfriend. Like if I employed her,
no employee.
Like,
how is he as a boss?
Okay,
how is he as a boss boyfriend?
Oh, terrible. As a boss boyfriend, he's not friendly.
I'm not good.
He's not nice. He's mean. And so I actually was just only consulting for his company, advising for a while, and I refused to work with him. So I work with his COO or whatever Alex's title is. And I work only with Alex. And I said, I will advise, but only if I do not communicate directly with him.
So look,
you're a savage, bro. Like what's going on?
Guys,
that's the angry engineer over there.
Yeah.
Right?
Look, we have to be honest about it, right? You should never work with somebody who's a psychopath who created 1,000 videos in 1,000 days, right? Yeah. Intensity is in Nas Daily. Yeah. We're intensely passionate about what we do, and nothing is gonna fucking stop it. No 9 to 5, no fucking work-life balance, none of that, and we own it. Yeah. It's not a hidden thing where we say, come join our family of work, and then we stress you out. No, it's stressful from the outside. It's more stressful from the inside. You know what you're getting. Please sign up. Come work at Nas Daily and Nas.io. We have a lot of exciting stuff. We are on a mission. It's amazing. Please join us if you want.
So if you're looking at unicorn, if you're looking at the unicorn companies, you can expect a 9 to 5 and a regular day job, right? You need to have that madman going around that it's all in his head and say, no, that it's all about timing and it has to be exactly like that, into the details, and it just would never happen. So you see yourself as that type of CEO?
I'm a madman.
Yes,
I'm a proud madman, and I think you are too at the beginning of your job. And we shouldn't hide it.
No, never. You set expectations. You said, look, projects are going to start. I might kill it at the last minute if I don't feel it's going to work, because I'm about results, not about the process. And it was a challenge when I started working with people that come from corporate that weren't used to it. And what we put all those hours and hours and days of work. I get it, but knowing now that it's not going to work, what's the point of continuing or launching something that wouldn't work, right? What about the result? So then eventually I learned that I have to really thoroughly explain this to anyone that comes over. And it's like, do not get discouraged. This is what we're all about. We're about the results, not about the process. And that's what it means when we're about the results, about the product. You might work and once you tell them that, it's a world of a different. It's a world of a different, yes.
I love that.
How do you find people to work for you?
So, disclaimer: we say work with you. So I know it sounds.
understand
Don't
why.
roll your eyes, sweetie. I try very hard to make it look like we're on a mission together.
Well, you have if you.
I didn't want them to fight, but I gotta ask. You're 6 years together. Are you gonna get married? Are you gonna?
Oh, we're pivoting now.
Wow,
we're
that's
pivoting.
a major pivot.
No, we can
Did
go
you
back to
ever
the
ask?
employee conversation after.
Wait, we'll go back to it later. Exactly. So
We didn't finish the relationship. You're right.
Yeah.
Actually, he
so
brought
if
me
you're
back.
6 years, I mean, timing is a thing. I mean, did you ask her to marry you?
Did I ask her to marry me?
Yes. Will you?
Yeah, did you ask me?
Well, first of all,
When are you gonna ask her to marry you? Now?
actually, I never did.
Why not?
Well, first of all, I have a fear of commitment, and so does she.
My finger is empty.
Sweetie, stop
It's
hinting
available
at things.
now.
Stop hinting at things.
Apply
We
to work
all
for him,
know
apply
if I
to marry
propose
me.
right now, you would say no. Okay, so
You don't know anything until you try.
she was married before.
Uh-huh.
And for us, marriage is like we have a couple of things we need to resolve before we commit to each other forever, which is kids, and that's it.
And personality traits.
So it's a bit more involved.
Interesting.
Do you think we should get married?
Listen, I feel like
I think 6 years you got to make a call.
I just got divorced,
Really?
so
You have to make
I
a
don't want to
decision.
say anything. I
Or-
just got
Yeah.
divorced.
Who are you to give advice?
No. I'm not saying.
12
I'm not
years
saying,
of marriage. I think I know what I'm talking
I'm
about.
not
No,
saying
I'm
you have to
joking,
get
I'm
married,
joking.
but I'm saying that you can't leave it up in the ether at 6 years. It should be.
Were you married before?
Never. No.
Do have
Are
a
you
girlfriend?
engaged?
No, I have a girlfriend.
How many years?
Yeah.
4.
So
Okay.
why aren't
Well,
you?
so why aren't
Why
you
aren't you
married?
Yeah,
proposed?
Scott,
We pushed off everything
Oh,
because
but that
of
sounds
COVID.
Do you love
Bullshit
Jenna?
excuse.
Do you love Jenna?
I do.
Why aren't you engaged?
And we're gonna get engaged.
Did you
Okay.
talk about it?
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
when are you
well,
proposing?
in the next 6 months.
And you guys are gonna have kids?
Why wait 6
Yeah.
months?
Why wait 6 months?
Why wait 6 months?
Yeah.
Because we don't want to do it in Florida.
Isn't it weird to like?
I love. What were we thinking? Of course not.
We want to go over to
We
Europe,
gotta
and
do
it's
it in
just busy.
Mykonos or something next summer. We'll think about.
Our problem is, well, we have many, but the main one is I don't probably want kids, and he do.
Oh, that's great. You said the word probably.
well.
Well, 2 years ago you said definitely. So we're progress.
I always leave a 1% door open for anything in life, But yeah,
My only thought was that after 6 years, I mean, if you wouldn't want to be at the 12-year mark and have something that is so deeply ingrained in who you are, like having kids, and then you still argue about at 12-year mark, and then all of a sudden 12 years of your life is gone.
Yeah, but
It's
I
not
love,
gone.
But I love
Wait,
the
wait,
journey
wait.
with her. I love the journey with
thank you, sweetie. That's very nice. Oh, he said something nice about me. This is unusual. Enjoy. Wait, that's literally what I was gonna say. Is like I think relationships. That's like you're looking at the relationship through an old-fashioned traditional lens.
Always. Always.
Not in a mean way. Not in a mean way.
All right, she's from LA. I'm
Listen,
just gonna
yeah.
put it out there.
Not in a mean way.
Devolved.
No. We all grew up thinking like that.
Yeah.
But the way I like to look at relationships is you get something out of every relationship. Like this interaction, I can still enjoy even though we're not getting married, right? So like, I can enjoy my relationship with someone, whether it's 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, 6 years. We can learn and grow together, and we can value those years even if we end up not together. It's not valuable only if we die in the cemetery together. You know
I
what I
agree
mean?
with that. I do.
So-
agree with
That's a
that.
good point.
It is a good point.
So I enjoy the 6 years.
We're still enjoying our time
I benefit
together.
from you. I take advantage of learning from you.
Yes.
And I laugh at your jokes. So
Thank you.
So even if it doesn't end up in me with a ring on her thing, even if it ends in 8 years, for now
You'd
I
be
like
happy with the time.
Yeah, there was something
Yeah.
to say. Like you guys were both each other's stepping stone. You evolved together, and I feel like overall, looking at this after getting divorced, I think the big challenge where you see a lot of people getting divorced those days that you put the government in your relationship with papers. It's like a corporation that,
so
you have to
true.
put out there, and then you said, "Well, why do I need to?"
Yes.
Anything you want just is such a challenging part in case it doesn't work. In case that it's just a challenging life
And in Europe, I have a lot of friends whose parents, it's normal to not get married and have kids. And, you know, my friends' parents are not married. They got married actually like 2 years ago, and they have multiple kids, and they're having an amazing life. And they just got married like for fun 2 years ago, and they were never married. And I'm actually curious from you, because I love that you and your wife are still friends.
Yeah.
Well,
even
he
though
says they're still friends.
I
No, we
believe
are,
him.
and I would say that.
But 2 kids in 12 years is
Look,
not
a
nothing,
relationship,
right?
you come in one way and you come up the other way. I didn't want to, and I think I got lucky to say that we both got married happy and we got divorced. I didn't want it to be you only divorce an angry woman, you don't marry one, right? It's very important to go and make sure that
What?
no, you don't
I
want to be
missed
one
that.
of those. Let me say it again. Like
I got
when
it.
you see people getting angry on the other side, you say, well, it's her fault. She's crazy. No, why? You only divorce an angry one. You didn't marry her when she was angry, right? So it has to be a lot on you. So you have to kind of like reflect on yourself. You said, right, it doesn't work for us, but she was a very, very important person in my life, and she will be forever. And now together we have so much. I think together now our journey is very, very good, because we call each other almost every day. We talk about everything, and I still use her as a benchmark when I have ideas. I call about everything because I feel like the sounding board is very important for me. She was my sounding board for BoxyChump. She was my sounding board for everything. And we would talk about this, and I needed her intellect to go and tell me what she thinks about stuff, because she would think completely different than the way I would think, completely different. So it was very important for me. And now, on the other hand, she would tell me, because I'm covering her 6, she covers my 6, right?
Yeah.
Just another angle. So, you know, I can't speak to why people get divorced with different outcomes, but for us, we didn't have any problem like breaking up because of cheating or something. It didn't work out. And we have 2 beautiful children, and I want her to be happy. I want the kids to be happy with her. And I think it's also the way that people are raised. One thing my mom told me is, when you marry someone, take a look at her relationship with her dad, because the relationship with her dad would be fueled by her mom. The mom is the one that controlled everything, right? If the mom doesn't want the kids to be with their dad, they're not gonna have. And she had relationships that were great. Now, it's not 100%. Some other cases can be like bad dad. I'm not in relationship with my dad, but in her case, she came from a good family that they weren't teaching her to have drama around everything. If he's a good man, didn't work out, just stay together. So her family is my family for life. She's always gonna be my second half for life, and it's a beautiful thing. So I was blessed to be with the right person.
Learn from him, Nasir.
Sweetie, do you think our divorce would be without fights?
Well, I was already divorced, and there were no fights, and it was great. And my
Good.
parents are divorced, and there's no fights, and they get along. And my mom has never said anything bad about my dad, and they've been divorced for like 20 years. My dad has never said anything bad
would you
about my
say
mom.
anything bad about me if we divorce?
Not in public.
That's not a bad answer.
We'll never.
I would not say
stop.
anything different about you if we break up than I have already said now when we're together.
Do you know how many short clips we can get out of this? Right?
Oh, there's a lot.
Do you know how many viewers we can
Thank God we got them in
Crazy.
4K,
Keep
right?
talking about this. Guys. I love it. This is-
No, but I really hope he learns from you, because I've said, like, if we ever break up, can we please remain friends? Because that's such a
Amicable.
waste. And he says no.
I mean, I think that's
I've never
just.
stayed friends with an ex.
Thank
Never.
you. That is,
I
you are a
have.
realist, and I appreciate
yeah,
you
but
for
that's
that.
when you don't have kids. Wait until you have kids.
For sure.
You're
But
gonna
That's why.
think
That's why I
different.
don't want to make a mistake about kids either. That's why, okay. So 4 years later, now we're making a decision about it, and we're still together. We're still very happy. So I'm comfortable 4 years later. But I know people that in the first year they're talking about kids. I'm like, chill, like slow down, like just relax. Life's long. Live together a little bit. I know I'm old fashioned, but I mean it.
Which is fine.
It's fine, but I mean, like my parents were divorced too, and they were divorced later on in life, and like it kind of sucks. Like they're both happy now, but it does kind of suck. I don't really want to do that to my kids if I don't have to. I really don't, and especially like it's great because they're very friendly, right? My mom, my dad, they're actually on great terms. But
Yeah.
imagine if it wasn't a great divorce. In
Yeah,
air quotes,
yeah.
A great
You know how
divorce.
hard it is to stay married in Miami? I'm just putting it out.
That's
there.
why. That's why.
You guys need to move to like Ohio
I'm
or
never
something.
letting Gino watch this
I'll
podcast
send you a
because
place
of
in
you.
Idaho. You're gonna love it. It's amazing. You're Canadian. You don't mind shoveling snow in Idaho.
I do have to say, Miami is full of distractions.
Yeah, it's distractive, and it's. I mean, it wasn't the reason people break up, right? We didn't actually live in Miami, but ultimately, why do you think divorce rate is so high? Put it out there. There's a reason why people keep getting divorced again and again and again. So, kids, it's really a preference, right? It's not good or bad to have or not have kids. But once you have kids, you would feel different about life in general, because that's when you think less about yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be also good not to have kids, because you can say, well, now I have to worry for the rest of my life if they're going to come back from, they're going out somewhere. Like, it's just stress. It's underlying stress.
I get it. I totally get it.
That's why we all die from heart attack eventually.
Yeah.
But it's good to be with a person that's going to be amicable with you and thinking the same way, and we're building their personality, the kids' personality together, and not when we're against each other. I mean, you've seen the other side. I mean, everybody knows kind of nasty divorce, what happened. The one that suffer are the kids.
That's
and
important. So imagine
care.
if you're in a relationship and somebody cheats, and then you don't ever want to talk to that person again.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have kids, you could just not talk to them again. But now you do have kids. That's
then you
the
shouldn't
worst.
cheat.
Exactly. Well, I agree.
Don't do that. Okay.
That's hard. Yeah.
It's very hard.
It's hard. Yeah.
Well, if we're thinking in a more modern way about relationships also, do you guys know Esther Perel?
Oh, God.
No.
I don't.
Well, you should interview her. She's also kind of Jewish, Israeli something. I don't really know what she is, French. Anyways, she's a...
Then you find out she's from Albania. She has nothing to do with that.
Has a coffee empire.
No, she doesn't have a coffee empire.
Tell us, sweetie, what's the new way to look at relationships?
So she's written this book and multiple books. One is called Mating in Captivity. So essentially, like, captivity is marriage, essentially, and mating is, sex, things like that. So she talks about how historically, having fidelity or not cheating, etc., kind of made more sense because you don't have like tests to see who the parent is historically. Also historically, if you go way back, it was tribalism. So people weren't actually monogamous. And the definition of monogamy has actually evolved over time. So historically, monogamy meant one partner for life. And now, what do we think monogamy means?
One partner
at a time, right? So we're already as humans changing the definitions of everything. So it's kind of interesting, like she talks about, like in the past, cheating, like recent past, is like the end of the world. You're like, oh my God, my partner cheated. All those 4 amazing years you had with your girlfriend, it's over because one night you or she was drunk and did something, right? And she talks about what if people look at that and they're like, okay, that happened. Let's talk about why it happened. Let's see, maybe it is a big deal, or maybe it's not necessarily the end of everything. Maybe we can look at that as one night out of, 1,200 amazing nights.
So
right?
Can I cheat?
I mean, I've told you before, if you cheat, it's not necessarily a deal breaker. Of course, I'd like you to not cheat. I'd ideally like that to not happen.
I don't want to say anything.
Again.
I mean, I don't know if we're going to go into...
that's a very evolved way. I just think that when it comes... It's like what Mike Tyson said. So everyone has a plan until I punch him in the face. It's like
until they get punched in the face, not until he punches
Of course.
No, that's what he said. He was
Everyone has a plan.
speaking in the first person.
That's funny.
So the idea is that it's true rationally, but then the emotion comes in.
Of course. I mean, I'm not saying, if you get cheated on or you cheat or whatever, that you should just approach it with a completely balanced outcome. I'm just saying, does it have to always mean the end? Not necessarily. I think I was raised where, if somebody cheats on me, I'm like, oh, it's over. I have self-respect, blah, 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 blah. But after, learning a lot more, I'm like, there could be a situation where it happens and there still is a lot of love. I was married and I actually ended up cheating on my ex-husband. Not like sleeping with someone else or whatever. I was Mormon, so it was like a very low-key version of cheating. And our relationship had many other problems, and we should not have been together. But that experience showed me that if I, a Mormon girl who never had sex till I got married, never broke any rules my whole life, never drank coffee, never drank alcohol, if I could be driven to that point of doing some form of cheating, right? Obviously a more low-key version, but still very clearly cheating, I'm like, oh my God, anyone could. Not anyone, because maybe, there's probably better people
why would
than
I
me.
judge my partner in the future that does that or something to a certain point?
Because I was like, the nicest girl ever.
Yeah.
The nicest, the most...
But you haven't cheated on me, right?
No, sweetie, don't worry.
Making sure.
I'm just saying, I mean, we have a whole different conversation we could go into right now if we wanted to.
No. But what's cheating those days? Right?
Yeah. But the point, anyways, you get the point, which is it doesn't necessarily need to be the end. It doesn't have to be like the guillotine.
And it's totally cultural too.
Yeah.
Like if you have a conversation with somebody in Europe, it's very different than somebody in North America.
Oh, so different.
It is. So
Yeah.
You guys had something in Eastern Europe where you went on a show, and that was an interesting show, and I
don't know the
I
story.
felt for you.
I didn't research
no,
this.
No. So I've been,
Didn't go deep enough, bro.
Yeah, I
Went to
know.
the homepage.
I got the website.
So he
bro.
went on a show. He went on a TV show in Eastern Europe where he was sitting down, and they're like, "Man, you're the man." And he was sitting all happy, and then they said, "So you're getting girls hitting on you." And the thing is, I get it because you don't know how to react the first time, and it's very challenging because you need to go and cut it like nip in the butt right there.
You're on a show where girls hit on you?
In a show, no, they were telling him you're getting girls, right? When you travel by
The guy
yourself,
was asking
and he's
me,
sitting
do
with
you-
her, and they're
They said,
making her look
essentially,
bad.
like, are you sleeping with women,
okay,
essentially,
while you're
as
doing
you
all
travel?
your-
And it's like this. I'm next to him.
Yeah, and they were completely ignoring that, and then he tells them, "No, I don't." And he was kind of, he was shy about this because I guess it's a first TV appearance, massive TV show, and he wasn't sure how to react. But then she ended up fighting. Like, "What the hell are you talking about? This my boyfriend's not gonna cheat on me." And come on, Nas, I know you're doing that.
She basically like went on national television and said, "Do not fucking say this. I'm so tired of you objectifying women." Blah blah blah
That's
blah.
a little bit disrespectful.
She
to be
was
honest.
super.
That would never happen in America. What they said over there, it's a very. It seems like it's a very okay over there because.
But it
no one
happens
was-
in America, like with Conan
different.
O'Brien, with all these things.
I don't
It
think that
happens.
specific question would happen, but of course they disrespect women in America. Of course, are you kidding? But like,
Yeah.
No, but asking a guy that beside his girlfriend.
I don't think that would have
is-
happened.
that's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah,
That's
but the
like
answer is no. I
almost-
don't.
It was
Yeah, no,
pretty
I know.
bad.
I know. that we'll just roll with that one.
The answer doesn't matter. The fact was that they were asking that question in
Yeah.
such
Yeah.
a casual way with me there. And by the way, they had done other sexist things earlier that I had ignored. So
What did he do?
Well, he said to him, like, there was a girl with larger chest who was like the assistant, in a sexy dress. That's fine. And then he said to him, like, make sure you look at her in these eyes and not these eyes.
This guy's a gem. This guy's an absolute gem. Totally good guy.
Backstage,
above board,
he said something.
Not an asshole. Not a
So
piece
I
of
was
shit
being
at all.
chill. I was being
So
chill. And then it was too far. I was like,
Yeah,
That's
I
fair.
guess in retrospect, it's kind of like how do you say in English quarterback Monday, where you say, well, why would I look at her anywhere else other than the eyes? Where exactly do you expect me to look at her? So put it back at him or something.
I should have.
like
I should
that,
have.
yeah.
Where do you think I should look? At your employee's eyes or somewhere else?
Yeah,
Like
it's-
I should have done that. But I'm learning. I'm learning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but also when you're
It's like
when
the
you're
first
speaking
boxy
to
jump box.
somebody
You can't
who,
be the best.
I mean, there's like when you go into someone else's house, into their arena, and like they're like the authority figure.
Yes.
Like it's stressful sometimes when you go into it, especially in a TV studio.
And he's speaking in Albanian. So you wait
Yeah.
for 10
Translator.
seconds to hear a translator. So imagine a professional translator. No, sire, do you have sex with other girls?
while you're traveling.
Yeah, that's
And I didn't have an ear translator. So then I saw the discomfort on everyone's faces. I had
She
to
doesn't
ask
know
him,
what's happening.
what did he say? And then he had to tell me,
And I was like, this is what they said.
Yeah.
And knowing that you don't drink alcohol, after that you have to go and get a coffee.
And I don't drink coffee. That's how fun I am.
Damn, you're not
What do you
much
do?
fun. No
don't-
coffee,
you're
no
really
alcohol, no
trying to
meat.
get to 100% life.
Wait,
aren't
wait,
you?
are you vegan or are you vegetarian?
I'm vegetarian, so I do
Okay.
anyway. But no coffee, no alcohol, no Coke, no Red Bull. I'm thinking of no changing of clothes.
No heroin?
no buying, no drugs, no weed ever, no smoking ever. I'm thinking of quitting cursing. So that's my last fucking vice.
Oh man.
And when I finish that, I will
I
be
can never do
Jesus.
Yeah. You have to take achievable goals. It's going to be hard. If you take coursing, I think it would make it a little awkward socially in some circles.
If I do
Don't-
not.
If you
Cursing.
take out cursing.
No.
also, you don't
Really?
watch
Why?
porn.
Well, think about it.
Oh, I also don't watch porn. Do you watch porn?
Man, I'm single, so I can do whatever I want.
Do you watch
Yeah.
porn? You watch porn?
Yeah.
Specifically,
4-year
what do you
girlfriend.
watch? What do you watch?
Oh, I'm not doing that live. Not doing that live.
Don't you want an interesting podcast?
Yeah, not that interesting.
We said positive and negative motivation. It's all good. It's all negative publicity.
But this is interesting, right? Does your girlfriend allow you to watch porn?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Is that a Miami thing?
No, I'm from Toronto.
Is that a Canadian
Does
thing?
she watch porn?
Yeah.
The same frequency?
I have
As
no
you?
idea.
Independently or together?
Both.
At the same time?
Sometimes.
Sometimes you're by yourself.
Yeah.
See, I think our relationship is too strict.
You can date someone else.
So I haven't watched porn in 6 years.
I mean, it's probably good to not watch porn.
Wait.
It's great to not watch porn.
Alyne said no.
It's also
Because
better
I'm in a
for the
relationship
men.
and she
Yeah, I
doesn't.
know.
Wait, is it because you don't want him to watch porn? But you're like, I'm
It's
not
because-
gonna break up with you if you cheat on me, but don't watch porn.
No, if he cheats on me once and we have a conversation, we understand why it happened, I probably wouldn't break up with him. I mean, it
gotcha.
depends on who the person is. It depends how annoyed I am.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain, like, I can't imagine which, you don't know who will trigger you. There's
Yeah.
certain people that I'm sure would trigger me to be like, fuck you.
Yeah, best friend or
Fuck
something,
this.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I also
but there's
think that
certain
everything
situations.
you do in life, like if you're going to talk about porn in all seriousness, like if it's like
Yeah.
jeopardizing your sex life, that's an issue. If girlfriend is traveling, I don't see that as an issue. But if you watch so much porn that it becomes an obsession and it kills a whole bunch of time,
Well,
and
that's obvious. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just more like have an ethical issue with most porn, and I just don't know that I'm not 100% against other people watching porn. I'm on the fence with porn, but most porn I have an it's kind of like meat. You know, 99.99% of meat is unethically raised and created in factory farms. Is there ethical meat? Yeah, roadkill. Okay, so if you're eating roadkill, I don't care. Okay, so that's
You're
technically
eating
ethical. So
roadkill?
is
no
there
one is eating roadkill, sweetie.
some? Yeah, there are people who eat roadkill because
How do you capture them on time?
you know, like people who live in the woods. You know, they
What about the
find
tires?
things.
maybe people that go hunting.
There's no hunting is. I mean, is it ethical to have a gun and shoot a deer? No, get a
But
knife and
I'm
kill
just
it.
balancing that out versus killing it with your car. I don't
No,
know.
No,
It's
on
unintentional.
accidental, unintentional roadkill. Obviously not intentional. It's
Okay.
dead anyways, so why not eat it? Why
So
waste
then
it?
you have all the gear. Oh, here's one. Okay, let's get the gear.
There's
Like
people who
it
do
before.
that. There are a lot. You can Google it. You can go interview one of them. I don't know all the details.
I don't know if I want to eat
Can you give us
roadkill.
names of those people that
don't know their
every week you-
names.
No, but the bigger study is that most porn seems
Most porn
to be
is unethical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know about that data. I'm half with you guys, half with her. To be clear, I haven't made up
Yeah.
my mind yet.
I've never.
mean, I'm
but, like, the thing is,
open-minded.
I have so many things to worry about in my life that I've never taken a hard stance on porn or me. I'm just like, listen, I just focus on my life, my business. I do good work. I'm an ethical dude. You know, like that's.
Are you ethical though if you're eating meat and watching porn?
I mean, I'm not maliciously going out of my way to hurt people.
But I mean, animals are dead because of you.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just saying.
No,
like,
I get it.
This is the podcast. I like
know.
it.
Well, I don't see.
I'm not perfect.
Notice
I'm not
saying
even
nothing,
vegan.
though I
Just to
eat
be
meat
clear.
also, and-
I know, but I'm not gonna make. So I'm not.
Hide.
So I'll always eat meat, but I'll never have like a strong argument for or against.
I would never look at you
But
the
that's,
same,
like,
Scott.
easy
You're
for
such
someone
an
to
unethical
say.
It
person. I thought
is.
Canadians
Here's
were
what I
ethical.
think. Here's
That's
what I
like
think.
being like,
Here's
well,
what
I
think
didn't
about
kill
it.
the Jews,
If
but
we-
I didn't stop. You know.
This is like
But
Switzerland.
I don't look
in World War
at
II.
I don't look at meat as the Holocaust. I don't look at an animal like a fish as killing a human being.
I understand.
But wait,
that.
are you vegan or are you?
See, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying he should be perfect. I'm just
are
saying.
you vegan?
I'm only vegetarian.
Do you eat eggs?
I used to
Do
be.
you eat
no, I
eggs?
don't eat eggs, but
Okay.
I
Isn't that
know
more-
eggs are horrific.
Isn't that more
Yeah.
vegan though? If you don't
I mean,
eat
but
eggs, or-
I'm vegetarian, but I 99% of the time do not eat eggs. I think eggs are.
Oh, so you do eat eggs? 'Cause
no,
there's that 1%.
occasionally if it's.
Because you
if
know
it-
what happened with the eggs industry, where
Oh,
they take
yeah,
the
tell
milk.
them.
Guys,
They
guys,
literally
everybody
grind
needs to chill
chicks
out
alive.
here. It's
We're
not-
not chilling. This is
Are
a
you-
good
are you
I'm
conversation.
Are
helping
you
you over
pro-
here.
are
I'm
you
helping
pro-
you. I'm
are you-
balancing the.
I
Are
love
you
him.
pro-abortion?
Me?
Yeah.
If I'm pro-abortion,
Yeah.
I'm
Can a woman abort her child?
Yeah, of course. I'm pro.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I believe eggs, right? It's like
No, he doesn't know anything about. You don't know about the industry. You're making a weird argument. You don't know about the
I
industry.
know about the industry.
What do they
An
do
egg
to
is
the
not a
male
fucking
chicks?
animal.
What do they do to the male chicks?
No, but the idea is that the male
I know
chicks,
what
they
to
put
do
it
them-
in a grinder
Yes,
while
but
they're alive.
there are
But why
startups.
are
There are
we
startups.
drawing so many parallels between humans and animals?
Because
I mean,
Humans
what's
that
the
have
difference?
consciousness and self-awareness.
Animals have consciousness and self-awareness.
They'll argue with you on this one.
I know,
They
but
suffer. They
that's
cry,
a
they-
debatable
You know
point.
what's smarter, a baby or a dog? So should we kill babies because they're not very smart yet?
Babies are incredibly intelligent.
So are dogs. So are dolphins.
But I don't kill
so are
dogs.
parrots.
I
Yeah,
don't
but
eat parrots.
pigs are smarter than dogs scientifically. Do you eat pork?
yeah, pigs
100%.
are
Well,
smarter
actually, I
than
don't
pork.
like pork.
I don't like pork. either.
But everybody eats
Chicken,
pork.
beef.
Right,
So what if someone's in a
has
coma?
intelligence.
If someone's in a coma?
Point is a cow can have
I get-
intelligence.
I do understand
I've
your
seen this because I used to live in an area where you would have the ability to take, if you had a piece of land, you can go and move it for agriculture exempt, and then you would have cows on it, right? And you can absolutely see that some cows are just cows and they don't move, but then some of them come out with intelligence, and it was amazing to see it.
Wow.
They actually understand. It was mind blowing to see it, and that's when you really feel bad
I
when
love
you
that.
eat meat. Because I'll give an example. We had a property next to us that had had the agriculture exempt, and they had some cattle over there. There was only one cow. She would know how to jump the fence, and she would go into all the neighboring. She would come in. Now, you don't want a big, massive cow coming into your backyard or your front yard because it would mess it all up. So as soon as they would come in, she would run. She would know exactly when humans. She would know how to go back to her property. So there was definitely intelligent cow.
Yeah.
You can't deny it. I mean, you would absolutely, and all of us felt bad about that. So there's that part where you said, how much for my life I'm going to go and change, which I was already lived in a certain way. And it is that morality part, which I get that. I respect that because it's not from nothing. Definitely. You can see chicks that are sad, chicks that are not. So it's something that makes sense. Now, I wanted to ask you something. I think I'm trying to think about a particular video that you made about chickens, that they grow chicken based on, they're taking
your lab meat video, the cell.
Yeah, cell-based.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why am I not hearing about those companies? I mean, you have this, you have the one with the fish. Why am I not hearing
That's
about
still
this?
new, I think. That's still very new.
No, but it wasn't a young. I mean, they already produce chicken out of a lab, and it's the actual.
It's called Eat Just.
Yes.
So here's the way I think about it. I'm going to be vegetarian for the next 5 years only. After 5 years, I'm going to be eating meat again. The only difference is that the meat I will eat will have no animals dying for it. It will either come from a plant.
But why 5 years? Why is it taking them so long?
It's a hard problem. It's a hard problem.
To grow chicken meat in the
expensive.
lab.
They're
Out of
trying
cell.
to make it more affordable, I think.
But
I just commoditize it.
I think here's the reason, right? If you look 500 years ago, we used to
I
own.
just got to say to the listeners, what is it? What are we talking about? Can you explain
We're talking
about
about
the company?
cell-based meat. So there's a lot of companies, a lot of them in Israel, are creating meat out of the cell. So you take one cell of a chicken. You don't get the whole chicken, just one cell, and the chicken stays alive if you want. And then that cell, you can feed it in the lab, and it becomes trillions of cells. And those trillions of cells become meat. It's chemically the same, texture is the same, and chemistry is the same. So therefore, it tastes the same and smells the same as a meat. Genius.
Interesting.
So so to follow up on your point about ethics and meat eating, if that was an option and the amino acid profile was the exact same, I would never choose to kill an animal over eating
But by
them.
choosing to kill the animal now, you're creating more demand for that, and you're not supporting the demand for this industry. So you're delaying the availability of lab-grown meat.
With your money every day. Imagine being the slavery 500 years ago. We used to own humans, bro. Now think about it. We ended that that thing. But think about it. There was an injustice 500 years ago. What is the injustice we do today? Because the world is not perfect.
Yeah.
There is something that we do today.
So you're saying we're going to look back in a couple decades and said, do you remember where we actually did this to animals? We grew them.
Yeah,
we put them
mass
in
factory
cages.
farming, which
Once
is like a
upon a
horrific
time,
I would
thing.
also be
Animals.
curious about one thing because I'm not learned enough to know this. I would also be curious if somebody who's actually researched like this topic and sat down and spoke about how there's harmful side effects of growing like all these farms or whatever, and like growing all this corn-based food or whatever it is. Like there's a whole bunch.
For humans, it's terrible as
but
well.
also like for example, like Beyond Meat and all the other like non-animal based meat, whatever. Is there no negative impact to the world of creating that at scale? And I'm sure there's something. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure something will come out when we do it at scale.
Is there no byproducts of the chemicals used or some sort of harm
But
to the
I think over here they're looking more about the moral issue, not about the environmental issue, less about the environmental.
But you got to consider, okay, so then when you're talking about ethics, if you had a process that harmed the environment, harmed the world.
No, it's not. Beyond Meat is a lot less.
If you look at it at scale, like what's the carbon emissions or, probably
that's probably what I'm referring to.
I'm sure like, feeding a cow for years, killing the cow, blah, blah, giving it water is going to be here. And then Beyond Meat, of course, it will have some effect on the planet because it is a processed food.
It's much lower.
It's going to be here.
The data is out on this one.
But also not for Beyond Meat, because I actually don't believe that the amino acid profile found in Beyond Meat would be the same level of positive impact on your body.
Flavor. It's just a flavor. It's mostly the
But that's why you eat animal proteins because of the amino acid profile.
What we're referring to are actual meat Okay, you take a pea protein, you modify the molecule, and now you're making.
I know
it
that's
into
what we're talking
salmon.
about, but I'm talking about why would you eat meat? It's because of the health
then
benefits
in
that it
5
would
years
have.
you'll be
Yeah.
able to eat meat again without a
I
single death.
disagree. I don't think 90% of meat eaten now is actually for health purposes because people are buying like the most disgusting Tyson chicken farm GMO.
True. Yeah.
Unhealthy meat full of cancer-causing nitrates
But I don't
on
eat
Earth.
that. I don't
I
eat
know
that,
you
yeah.
don't, but you're
So-
like the exception
Yeah,
to the
you do.
rule.
No,
Do you eat
all
at
organic.
any restaurant?
Any fast
Organic
food?
or kosher.
Do you go to Taco Bell?
I try not to.
But
Do you go to
you do.
McDonald's?
Once in a while, but not
Okay.
often. Like
But
wait,
you
once a
have.
month.
But you
Yeah,
have.
but once a month
Guys,
is not
guys,
going to kill you.
you're shooting at him. Okay, leave him alone. Leave him alone. Okay, I'm gonna
He's
go
our
and start
target.
this. Listen, guys, the idea is this. Okay, so let's talk about the future. Okay, and I think this podcast can bring a little bit of awareness
Yes,
about
yes.
something that exists.
Now we
'cause
need
most
to
people
attack Joe.
don't know about it.
Yeah, the
No,
future is
but the reason why I bring up my
No, wait.
points
I
is
was
because there's
taking
a
you out
lot-
of this equation.
No.
Wait, one
I
second.
think it's very. I want to bring counterpoints just because a lot of people in the world that just don't think about this. That's really it.
Yeah, and we're not trying to attack at all. We're just showing the
Yeah.
other
a
arguments.
lot of people did not think about slavery. They just loved.
They
the
were like, "This is
cotton.
normal."
I love the cotton
love
that I get
this.
for cheap.
Yeah, like you can't look at what happened to animals and think it's okay, right? But you don't want to go and look too. It's going to look as if you're extremist saying that. But I mean, there are options. So I've seen three of your videos. One was about bees.
Yes.
Where it was amazing, and actually the founder's last name is Honey in
Yes,
Hebrew, right?
Davash, yeah.
And she was basically, they have a machine, and what they're doing is they're taking
Honey without bees.
Yeah, honey with actual honey with all the elements with no bees, because they're saying, look, there are only 7 types of bees
Yeah.
out of 20,000 that are producing honey. They're dying out, but you can create that by taking
You
bee
pay attention
bee
to the
protein.
videos.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Thank
doing
you,
my
man.
research. So taking nectar plus bee protein, and you can create honey.
Yes.
Why am I not seeing this in stores?
Because
Where is it,
it's
Nas?
still in development phase. That's why we go there and make that video to tell more people about it. It will take
You
another.
invested in the company, right?
I invested in some of them, not all of them.
Okay.
It'll take another 5 years, they estimate, for this to go to the market. The reason it's not there because your amazing government, the United States government and the FDA, takes their time to approve anything and do anything of value. You are waiting for the United States government
Yeah.
to tell you that this is okay to eat. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, they're gonna have lobbyists
Exactly.
saying don't until it cracks, right? And then
Exactly.
So your channels are actually good. They bring
Awareness.
good because you bring the awareness, and you're like, look, you can get honey without having bees. You can have. Was that salmon taste like salmon? I gotta ask. I mean,
Close to. It's V1. It
There's
needs a
also
bit-
Everything
cricket.
takes
There's
time.
also
One.
people doing it with crickets.
Have
I
you
know.
seen? Have you
Yes.
seen the salmon videos that they
No,
make?
I haven't.
Okay, so there's a company in Israel that does. They're taking protein from peas. They modify the molecule, and then they have a 3D printer, and they're making you eat a salmon that looks exactly like
crazy.
salmon.
I gotta show
So it is mind blowing when you look at this, and they're saying it's just variation number 1, V1, which I came up with. I understood V1 for the
Yeah.
first time. Never heard of it. Act like I knew what it was.
Wow, that was good. Very
Yeah.
good.
I'm picking up. Over
So you think in 5 years you're gonna have food like this?
you. Yes.
That's amazing.
Get with the
100%.
times. It's going to be amazing.
I mean, they
100%.
already have it now. You can buy like when I was
Yeah.
vegetarian, I became vegetarian when I was 12 years old. There was not like any options at the stores. I was just stuck eating like random
Oh,
freaking
no,
lentils
absolutely.
and shit. Yeah, and
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
terrible veggie burgers. And now they have Impossible Burger. And now they have.
My ex thought she had something, celiac disease, and she thought she cannot have gluten. She would
Yeah.
still argue she does, but she doesn't, whatever. Anyway, but she didn't, she was like, oh my God, this is all I can eat. And I'm talking 10 years ago, right? There was nothing in the section, like 3 things disgusting. Today, you can go live your life, you wouldn't even know. I mean, if you go to France and they're giving you their baguette and all that, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be.
But I've also
fine.
found, so
Yeah.
at least with my girlfriend, she notices that when she eats grains from other parts of the world, it doesn't impact her negatively like when she eats
Really?
it from the
It's
US.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah. It's like, it's noticeable.
Interesting.
So she could eat like a bread anywhere in Europe and it would be fine. Like, but when you eat bread in the US, she's like
It's very
not
different.
feeling good at all.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, but the US has a lot of great things, and I will say I'm grateful. But I do think that there's some weird things. Like, for example, when you look at the way things were dealt with when it comes down to COVID, and I was the first one to get the vaccine. I thought I'm gonna die when I got COVID the first time. Hospital, oxygen, the whole 9
Wow.
yards. Yeah, and I'm young. I didn't think so. I know it's real. There's no But the fact that you go and you look at a country like Sweden, that you should do a video about Sweden.
They didn't do anything, right?
Nothing. Everyone can come in, party, whatever you want. Don't put masks. Nothing. The chart was exactly the same. No collapse of the health system. Everything was the same. How come no one talks about them? They have data. Why? Where is it? It was just a lot of questions that kept unanswered. And you said perhaps it was a point in time where it was maybe manipulated for particular gain reasons. I remember where Fauci was asked. I remember. I think it was Paul.
Bro, now we're going into like Republican
No, he was
territory.
asked. No, absolutely not.
Listen,
Absolutely not.
This whole podcast is going to get taken down because you just mentioned COVID.
If you think, listen, Nas, if you think that was political, those questions, then you're saying it wrong. Like that was the problem, because it's nothing political. A simple question: was there any gain, personal gain for you? From recommending
For Fauci?
And he said I do not.
COVID?
But listen to the question he was asked.
COVID?
How do we get into this?
I will explain.
Okay, fine.
I will
This is a
explain.
conspiracy theory, Joe.
Okay, go.
Well,
go,
how
go.
about you listen before you shut it down? I'm
go
asking a question and then I leave it open, okay?
Okay,
I'm
go
not
ahead.
telling you. Like I said, I'm a guy that was in a hospital.
Was
I don't say
9/11
it
an
wasn't-
inside job?
No, did you see the problem? If I go
Let
and
him
tell
finish.
listen, this is the problem when people don't want to listen and they block themselves for information. That's a problem. So here it is. I go and I listen to the short clip of about 10 minutes where he was asked, was there any gain? Did you get any payment to recommend the vaccines by either Pfizer or Moderna? And he said, I declined to answer that. This is fucking crazy. What conspiracy? Why can't you say no? If it was a no, I don't know. I mean, so my point is, I took the vaccine. I was all about that, but I mean, I know people that had side effects.
But what you're saying really is not surprising. I mean, like sometimes pre-COVID, way pre-COVID, like health institutions are lobbied by large drug manufacturers. That is known. It's not great.
Exactly.
But I mean, that's a climate that we live in.
I mean, you guys were just
you
talking
have-
about this. Where why do you think they're not allowing that type of food? Because of lobbyists, right? I'm giving you the same things. Like,
I
now
see
it's
I
conspiracy
saw the
theory. That's my
parallel.
point. I'm trying to go and equate us. Like, listen, this is not just one thing. If they're doing it for one category, I don't want any fake honey over here. Don't give it to them. Let's block this. Let's
I'm sure
lobby
that the meat
Why do
industry
you
will
think they're not
happen.
going to do it
Oh,
on
they-
vaccine? Like
Yeah.
it's the same.
So much money.
I have no doubt the meat industry lobbies government, FDA or whatever to not make.
Well, that's why you look at other
Research
governments.
studies.
Singapore government has approved cell-based meat already, and you can buy it in Singapore already. The first country in the world to do so.
Interesting.
So it's happening. It's just not in America.
How is it over there? I mean, if it's already allowed, did that affect the cost?
No, it's not. It's not at scale. It's like still at very sample size level. Like 2 restaurants in the entire country sell it.
Okay.
Maybe 1.
That's the one you've been to, right?
Yeah,
The one that you showed.
That's
them.
why I went there because the
Yes.
first. It's amazing. It's the history being made.
And it tastes just like chicken.
It's chicken.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The only problem is just the texture. Is that it has to be fried because they cannot put the bone. You cannot create a bone.
Yeah. Mhm.
It doesn't feel like a normal meat, but whatever.
No, I mean it's a better alternative, and
Yeah.
with fish you don't have microplastics, and yeah, it makes sense.
We're in the middle of a revolution, guys.
It would
I
change-
love it. That's the thing. Like you're ripping on me because you eat meat, but I'm actually all
No,
for
we're-
disruptive.
I mean, I would
that's
never
what
see
it
you
is.
the same way, Scott. I would always give you the.
You're just
Ethical
an easy
porn
target
watcher.
sitting here when
I
it's
get
fine.
it. I'm actually I used to work with a whole bunch of startups at Creative Destruction Lab, which is like a startup incubator at the University of Toronto, and it was just all like anyone who was like all these innovative ideas, like things that are just like totally mind blowing. And actually, the biggest issue that some of these businesses have is you have a genius PhD or somebody that's taking this innovative product to market, but they've never built a business before.
Yeah.
So now you have all these. I spoke to a guy from Israel. I can't remember his name now, who is actually doing the cricket thing, and he's taking it. And he's turning it into like.
You know how many
protein
times I
powder.
heard the cricket story from so many people that
But
try
he doesn't
to
know.
push it?
Like he knows how to build a business, but the point is, a lot of these founders and entrepreneurs who are doing what's it called?
Cell-based meat.
Cell-based meat. They don't know how to build a business, so it's going to be a little bit slower than if you had a tenured entrepreneur that had 3x exits.
different skill
and,
set.
You know, he has capital or she has capital to put in, or they have a high net worth, peer group that can invest in them. Like,
I guess the main problem when you look at companies like
so you
this
have to support.
is that
Is the whole point? You have to support
today,
these
in
businesses.
today's world, if you want a company like this to ever make it, they need to be marketers aside of
Yes.
just product developers, right? And mostly when you go to companies where the founder is is really much focused on like all about the product, that's great. You have a Rolex, Daytona, sell it in the middle of a desert, nobody knows you exist. How do you create awareness? How do you create platform, right? And that's their problem. They're really all about making a product,
hyper
no idea how,
enthusiastic,
because that's a retail
people.
product. You can absolutely go send this to influencers, influential people, cut some deals with The Rock, with some, boom, everyone's gonna know about this. Boom, it's gonna be a thing from one day to another. But they don't go there, right? They might need a little bit more, perhaps a marketer as a partner to go in and push it and make it. I'm just looking at you guys over here, so you can bring it over.
Well, you
but
do
this
more
is
stories
what it takes.
on
A
it.
platform like you,
that's you bring
consistently
awareness.
showing it, going into anyone that has a platform as a friend to support it.
And we do it for free.
Yeah, like I can tell you that when you look at the beauty industry, it's just makeup. But today, anyone that comes up with a beauty brand, if you don't know marketing, don't even try.
No.
You're nobody. Then product, because it's much easier to zigzag to a better product, like I did with BoxyCharm, versus to no marketing. Marketing, building a platform, working with influencers, that takes a little bit more. So hard. Product, you'll get the product market fit after a couple tries.
But there's three companies. There's product-led companies, there's marketing-led companies, and there's sales-led companies. Mm-hmm. The best company to have is a product-led company where the product sells itself, like Apple.
100%.
If the product's shit, you need marketing. So marketing, like if the marketing sucks, you need a salesperson to open up the phone call and beg people to buy.
Yeah.
So that's like the three types
point.
of marketings.
I like how you said that's true. Product that sells itself, like, and you give the Apple example, and I like it. I remember when 2007, I was working a lot with Dig and Reddit and StumbleUpon. It was a way for me to create lots of links for SEO, and it was always my enviness, not in a negative way, kind of like learning from Apple. Like, they don't have to do no marketing. Their product is amazing. Everyone talks about this because it's really the one of a kind. And they kept coming up with innovating products, right? It was the iPod first, and then it moved into, every time it moved on, right?
Yeah.
Look at Tesla today, same thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe in 10 years, there'll be lots of Teslas, but for now,
Their
Tesla
marketing budget is zero.
Yeah, it's
for
zero.
Tesla.
No marketing. So the product sells itself. Then if you know, because Tesla would be a great example, right? The marketing is Elon Musk. Elon Musk is the marketer. It's just probably one of the best marketers in the world right now, right? So he has his product that it's superior, that changes the world, that mode of everything, right? Then comes his marketing platform. And we spoke about this. What happened if they shut down his Twitter account to the Tesla stack? No good, right? So product is great, but then plug in phenomenal marketing.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think people like you guys can come in and to companies that you probably invested in and say, look, let us take over the marketing, let's create awareness, let's push it, and then make sure.
Yeah, but I don't want to do that. I want to market my own product.
Okay, so
That's the thing.
I want to go back
But
to.
are you a product person like this? Because you're a digital product.
He is a product.
Yes, I was a product. I was a product manager.
No, I know, but digital product. You're doing the digital. I'm saying physical.
Physical products, no.
Yeah, so I'm saying you can have a physical product. You can say, look, I don't have to invent it. They already do it. I have the people that are right product people for that. I can be a partner. When you grow to a certain, when you're going to be old like me one day, you'll understand that it's good when you diversify without a lot of work, or just you have, because I've seen investors coming in right into BoxyCharm early stage, and they had a bunch of companies, and it's just a different life where you say, I can find the winners, I'll bet on those winners, I'll put some money into it, I'll even put a little bit of my time, and it's just so different than just doing everything by yourself, sweating and fighting with Alyne over here over stress.
How do you make yourself into the best product? We sort of touched on it before. I want to go back to like some lessons to pull out from what you've built.
So when you're a video maker, you realize that the only thing that matters is the product, which is the video file, the script, the shoot, the edit, and the sound, the music, right? Because if the video is bad, if the product is bad, you need to go put marketing behind the video to get it views, right? And that's just, no creator does that. So every single social media creator is product-led growth. It's not marketing. The product is the video. So we already know how to build good products. And if we know how to make a good video, then we should be able to know how to make a good physical product or a good tech product or whatever. But we must be a product-led company. That's how we think about it. So
yeah, you're saying content is king. You have to come up with the best content.
But incredible.
But the content is not marketing. It's the product.
No. The content is the marketing.
But content is the product.
The actual video.
Is the
That
actual
yes.
video, yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. But so I guess you will use different terms, right? We used to say content is king when you put anything out there. If you want to go viral on Reddit, you have to get the right content, right?
Yes.
So it's okay. You can go.
Where are you
I can go pee.
We'll
Okay.
see you in a second.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw your face a little bit different. I was like, what happened? Did I say something? I was like, yeah.
I drank too much.
So what happened is when you have the right content, you can go viral.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess we call it content. I used to call it content. You guys like to call it product, as it is a product. So it makes sense.
Sounds more
But okay,
expensive
so
that
then
way.
when for a creator who's listening, you built a great product. Fine, you're building a community. How did you like, how do you make money outside of?
How do I make money?
How do you make money? Yeah.
Monetization.
Well, I just go from city to city, and people pay for my flights.
Such a
and
nice thing. To do.
So ad revenue, but first of all, you're on Facebook. You were on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah, but
Instagram,
no, but
TikTok.
you started.
Yeah, I started on
mostly-
Facebook. Yeah,
Facebook was monetized day one or no?
yeah, day 600.
Day 600.
Yeah.
So from 271 to 600.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Just like speaking engagements or stuff.
2 years almost.
2 years on brands and
Wow.
speaking, and then monetization came.
So how many followers did you have by the time you
By
got
600, I had roughly I had 1 million at 400. I had 2 million at 600.
Okay, and that's when they started paying you and you started getting checks.
Yeah, I
Like,
was making
"Man, this
10K
is
a month."
amazing.
Yeah, I was
10K a month.
10K a month.
How many followers?
2 million.
2 million. Okay.
But then then it grows. Then you start making 100K, 150K. Now we make roughly 500K a month or so from Nas Daily. 400, 500.
On
It's something like that.
Facebook.
No, on everything.
Everything, yeah.
But ad revenue is 20% of what we do.
Interesting.
Then remaining 80% is brands and governments and tourism boards and production deals. So think of it like Vice and Virtue. Vice, the brand, the Vice, media company Vice.
Yeah.
Vice actually doesn't make money from the content. They monetize through Virtue, which is a studio production company within Vice. You saw the content, now let's make some for you. So this is what I do. Nas Daily, yeah, it's free, blah, 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 free, whatever. But you like it? Let me make some for you on the corporate. Actually, we did a little bit with BoxyCharm, but
Yeah,
that was
we did
3
some.
years ago.
Yeah.
So we were really bad. So
It was a long time ago.
I
huh?
apologize, yeah.
It's all good. I still cashed out. It's all good.
Yeah, thank you for the support. Thank you for the support. He's incredible. Now I need to cash out.
Yeah.
So that's how we. Now the technology arm makes money, but it's not profitable, and that's for that we raise investor money. So we raised $23 million to build technology products.
And what is that technology product?
Communities. We love to bring people together. What you're doing here, we love to do it at scale. To bring people together on the internet is very hard. You need to use Zoom and Google Forms and
And
MailChimp.
there's so much noise.
And so
Yeah.
much noise.
Yeah.
So Nas.io is the easiest way in the world to build a community. Period.
What is it? Tell me about it.
So it's a SaaS tool, software
Okay.
as a service, where anybody can use it and build a community of. You can host a
Oh,
course.
you can build your own community based on this. So you spin up the SaaS. I saw it was like a monthly recurring something,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
you have all these widgets for creators.
Exactly.
mostly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we want to enable people to build a deeper social network. So on TikTok, you get the attention, but the bottom of the funnel is you need to build a community. And then we build the infrastructure for that.
And how do you build a good community? Because now you have the software, so a creator wants to do this. Obviously, community is a huge buzzword.
Yeah.
People just think Telegram, Discord, originally Facebook page, but
Yeah. Now we build on top of Telegram, on top of WhatsApp. How do you build a community? Like, honestly, it's kind of like asking how do you build a successful YouTube channel. You just need to be a good creator, or you need to be a good community builder. Who is a good community builder? Well, think about it. The pastors, the imams, the political leaders, the creators, the mothers, right? The really good community builders.
That's interesting.
Those are the ones we build for.
So community, I had to Google that when I wanted to build it for Boxy. It's a group of people with the same interest,
Yes.
in the same space,
Yes.
activating together.
Yes, exactly.
So imam, rabbis, all that, politicians. Okay, we all have that particular interest. We're all going to go to the church, okay, and then we're going to pray together.
Yes.
All right, that's literally all those. This is the strategy, right? Because those are the tactics. Get them together, activate them together, but only those type of people that have the same interest.
Correct.
And so how do you do it on your SaaS?
So the creator does it. We don't do. We just
Okay.
give you the tools. So you want to run an event, we have an amazing software.
Oh.
You want to run a Zoom event, we have software. You want to host a course, we can help you to host a course. You want to accept payments, we have a payment gateway. You want to spin up a homepage, we spin up a homepage. So every tool you need is there, and it's just like easier to do.
Interesting.
So we're not operational in that sense. We want to scale infinitely, and so you just use the technology software. I want Nas to become a technology company. That's what I like. I was a software engineer before any of this crap,
Yeah.
and I want to go back to
You want to
those.
go back stronger.
Why
than
didn't you
ever.
just build it yourself? What's 23 million? You're a software engineer. You can't.
Yeah, I stopped
What do you
coding.
need 23 millions for? I mean, to develop
Well,
that, you need 23 million.
We still have 15 of these 23 million. So
Okay.
we still have a lot of money.
So you just want to make sure you raise enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
we're also
Servers.
70 people, bro. We're a
Yeah.
lot of people.
You have 70 people just for the tech side?
Yeah, and then 40 for it. So we're 120 total.
Amazing.
Do you really need all those 70 million people? I know, I'll tell you later why I asked.
You've-
but
Because
I
you had
wanna
the same problem probably at
I will
BoxyCharm.
tell you later, but tell me first.
I
if
think
you
I probably
'cause
need-
I saw that face.
I need 50
Okay.
or 60.
See, because when I sold Boxy, I remember we needed more because we were understaffed. But when we came into a different organization that bought us, they had 140. We had like 20. And I told
20 what?
20 engineers, right? And they had 140. And I said,
Engineers.
because that doesn't include the database managers, that doesn't include the QAs. So just
Wow.
But then we had about 20, and we were on Magento, so the platform itself didn't require that many. But if you wanted to move a little faster, in some cases, it would make a difference. It's kind of like pregnant woman in 9 months. You can't really make it faster. There's no way. But if you
Very
some
strange
other ways,
analogy.
other ways, it's not like that. You can actually speed it up, right? So in our case, we knew that we need a little bit more, but it wasn't critical. But then when we were acquired, the other company had 140.
Wow.
And I remember I asked the CEO, I said, why do you need 140 for? Now, in my case, I knew every project that we were on. He said, we know because we need. There was no clear answer, but because you're a software engineer, you know the code, you understand what you need it for. So that's a question like, are you feeling like you're getting, like, I want to hire and I'm already, like the golden boy, I built something big.
Yeah.
And I kind of like can't say we need to stop hiring because in reality, it would look as if we stopped growing. And it's a paradigm that stops you from
No,
doing
we
the right
stopped
thing for the
hiring
business.
for the last 3 months. We
Okay.
definitely have stopped hiring. We actually reduced a little bit. So
Interesting.
I've stopped wanting to hire. There's this thing called it's like a I forget what it's called, but floating something like basically. If you take one horse and you give it one carry-on, like a horse carrying thing,
Oh, I understand that, yeah.
the horse will give 100% of its energy to carry the
Yes.
human. But if you put two horses to carry the same thing, the horse now will put 70% of its
Yes.
effort and the other horse will put 70%. If you put 10 horses, each one will put 20%.
Interesting.
So 10 horses will be double as powerful as one horse. And the same applies to teams, right? So 30 engineers doesn't mean they're 3 times faster than 10 engineers.
No, more powerful.
Yeah, or more powerful. They're probably
Interesting.
30% efficiency
Yeah.
more.
Because they offload.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's called the social loafing effect. And it's shocking. And that's why I was like, you know what? Let me maximize 100% of every person in the company, including me. And then when we double, we'll only grow up by 50%.
So I'll tell you one more thing when you scale a business too fast, because eventually you'll see a lot of big companies scaling back, and it's big, and they have to restructure. And many times what happens is you have a scalability. You grew and you said, well, when we were 4 people, we were so efficient. Now we're 1,000 and it's nothing. And the rule was, so it's the square root of your employees will do 50% of the work.
Oh, yeah. You told me that.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the idea is that it doesn't matter how many employees you have. How do you get to be the unicorn that doesn't fall into that statistic? When you have 1,000 people, you don't want 33 people to do 50% of your work. How do you make that to be as efficient as possible to everybody else? And the challenge is mostly the problem starts with the speed of hiring. Because those people that come in, they don't have the same virtues that the original people had, because you embedded the virtue on the original people. They've seen your mission, they've worked alongside you, and you gave them all that energy. You guys are there together. It's like, boom, that's it. But the new ones, they barely get to see your face.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a lot to do with the speed of hiring. Just because you wanted to achieve something really, really fast, And eventually there's a process to the madness. It needs to take its time. So my advice on this one is to go and think about this when you hire, because you're only 70 people. Think about this. Eventually you're going to be much bigger. You can be 700. Just take that thought and said, how can I go and be with the right people, at least the managers that everyone's going to know me, and how can I get the alphas to stay?
Yeah, so build a strong culture.
An incredibly strong culture. Make sure that the team is part of that culture building process.
Yeah.
But then you also, I think there's also incentives. Like you can make sure that they have actual equity in the business, so that they are incentivized. I mean, it's like that is a traditional startup playbook.
Yeah, we gave up 25% of the company. We gave it to the
I mean, I also hear your point, but I think that so it's a good point. Look, I see we're going to disagree on something.
Oh, nice.
It's only because when you're starting and you're trying to find incredible talent, especially people that are like on board with your vision, and your vision is wild and audacious and crazy, and it should be, always hiring and always firing you have to be doing that. So I think that the issue is actually not always hiring, it's not firing fast enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you always have to be hiring at a startup stage. You always have to have those job postings up. You always have to be talking to people.
Your job is to make sure you go to those levels more like the directors and above. Those are the more critical points, right? Because if you take a manager that is average, it's worse than useless. Yeah. Because you take a B player would always worry that the other Bs are going to take his job, or not to mention the As. So they'll always keep the Cs. They'll fire the Bs, they'll fire the As. Those are the dangerous ones. So an A always hires an A because an A cares about the results. A B hires a C. So the idea is that you have to go and look at that level, and then you go back to the directors that don't perform, and eventually they'll be masters of disguise.
They will be masters
of disguise.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very, very.
I have not had good luck with leaders.
Yes, that's very critical. Man, listen,
because I'm looking at them like crazy.
This is the problem that everyone that grows the business bootstrap like you and me had. Scaling the organization is the most. Hiring people properly takes a point that once it clicks. You need the right hand man to be that rock star that helps you elevate everything. Your COO has to be experienced to see a company from where it is today to where it was before. He had to walk that road before. So he can hire underneath you. He can do all that. So you can focus on developing your product, your vision, and everything else. They have to be good enough to do it. You can't be good at everything. That's when you have that person. I'm like, okay, that manager, not my favorite. I keep seeing the churn over there. You need that person that have seen things you haven't seen.
Yeah.
And that's usually you want to hire from the top. That's like my little 2 cents from my experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Can we take it back to
yeah, can I go to the bathroom first?
Yes, you totally can. Okay, you can answer.
I don't know.
What do you mean? I don't know. It's not like a hard question. It's not like the questions you throw at me.
Let me read the question.
These are very nice questions. Yeah.
Favorite color. Thank you.
Favorite color.
Okay. When you are a creator, how do you start to make that first step? And Nas can answer too, because it's an interesting point, because a lot of people are at this stage, early stage creator.
This I can answer.
Where you
something.
Ooh.
You're breaking the set.
Oh, I don't think they're gonna hear you now. Can
Hello?
you do the test?
Can you hear me?
Okay, good.
So when you start to build out a team, how do you go from creator to corporation? How do you take those first steps?
I mean, I think he's better to answer this than I am. But I would say, I mean, it's kind of what you said. You need a good COO. You need a good COO because you're good at content creation. So it depends on what type of corporation you want to become, right? Do you want to become a media house, essentially? Mm-hmm. Do you want to have a product? Do you want to, build a BoxyCharm or an Ipsy? There's lots of different directions you can go.
You want to be BoxyCharm. You don't want to, trust me.
Yeah, you want to be like a BoxyCharm? That's all we say, BoxyCharm or Nas.io, right? So you need a good COO, and you need to hire people that you don't need to hire necessarily other creators. You're already a good creator. You have the marketing arm built in. You don't need other marketing people. You are the best at marketing. So you need someone who can run operations and who can kind of help you build out your team. So it depends on if you're doing the product route or if you're doing the media route or what route you're doing.
I'm curious because you sort of touched on this before, but we never actually went into it. So you were alluding to like the relationship between you working as an employee, which wasn't good. You weren't cool with that. So how did you build out your business? Like what is the scope of what you do now? Because you never really clarified. I know he's built out all these different products and obviously as a tech product and whatnot. So what do you actually
do. Like, how do I make money?
Yeah.
So we're very different. I'm more of like a lifestyle individual business. I'm like a normal person, and he went to Harvard. He wants to build something huge. He wants the legacy, all of these things. So for me, I make enough for myself. So what I do is I run retreats. So I run retreats, like, which is not really something scalable unless I hire a huge team. And I also do online courses, which I guess is scalable. You can come back. And of course, I make money like a normal creator, right? I have brand deals. I have things like that. And then I do personal investments. So I run the retreats and I do my courses and I have my masterminds, because for me, the most important thing is my community and knowing people's faces and having actual friends that I can grow and work with. So that's what I do. So I'm a good example for, a normal person who wants to be a creator and wants to have a really nice lifestyle and make a really good income. I'm not a good template for someone who wants to build a huge company and have 100 employees.
No, but there's two very different templates, two different types of lives, two different stress levels as well, and two different goals.
I'm much lower stress levels.
So when you build something like what you've built, what is like the cap on revenue you think you could actually achieve with what you do? What is the team that's required to actually run what you do? So a creator who doesn't want a 70 or 700 person company can look at you and be like, this is exactly what I want to replicate.
So I think I made last year around 400 or 450. I can't remember exactly, but that was, I could probably make up to...
Thank you for the transparency.
Oh, you're welcome. I could probably make more. I could probably make up to the low millions without changing a lot.
Okay.
And just like with a couple people. So my team has fluctuated between 1 full-time to maybe 4 full-time. I've never had more than 5 full-time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I don't need it really big. Honestly, I could do everything I'm doing on my own. The team just helps make it easier and gives me more free time. So that's something I think is realistic for anyone who's willing to work super hard for a few years, that you could make, $500,000 a year up to a few million if you have a small team. If you wanted to grow beyond that, I think you'd need to either have a product that scales or you need to be building kind of a larger team or looking for equity.
So I see two different people, right? I see one that kind of like has a bigger ambition, and another one
not bigger ambition, different ambition.
No,
I mean,
I think
his ambition is partially mine, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I might behave differently if we were not dating, because, we're kind of a unit, even though we're not, married or engaged, as you mentioned. But we are still a unit, right? So because I'm with him, I don't need to work as hard because I can still access his network without me needing to kill myself as an individual, right? Yeah. You would probably not be friends with me as dear Alyne, but because I'm with Nasir, now I can be friends with you. I can be friends with you.
You met Bill Gates 2 days ago.
I got to meet Bill Gates. I got to meet Priyanka Chopra. And so once I meet these people,
network.
It's not a bad network.
Awesome network, yes.
As dear Alyne, I have 3-4 million followers. I could still meet a lot of cool people. If we break up, I'm still good. I still, had equity and sold a company before. I'm still fine. But I don't want or need to kill myself. I don't want or need the same legacy as him. If we broke up, I might behave differently. But his future is also, at this point, my future. What he does in politics or business, etc., is, even if it's not equity-wise mine, like, I feel partial ownership of it, and I get access to that network.
This is the first time I heard this.
How much do you feel?
Oh, you never heard this?
How much do you feel?
Isn't this
how
obvious?
much do you feel like your growth? Because you had kind of like really amazing growth. How much it comes down to the partnership you guys had?
Well, she's an important part of this.
Thank you, sweetie.
There's a line that I can't remember, I cannot forget, which is, "Nothing great is done alone."
Yes.
And so that's in terms of partnerships, in terms of a team, in terms of family, in terms of everything. So for sure, she's like, she's been very, very supportive of everything. And she was just saying this morning how, what were you saying? Is like,
I don't remember. I say a lot.
You
say good morning.
You are lucky. I'm like the best girlfriend you could have.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I can see that.
I'm a really good, Robin. I'm a really good, Batman and Robin. I'm a really good sidekick. I'm very supportive. I'm intelligent. I understand things, but I don't necessarily want to compete or take away from someone else. I'm okay if he's number one. I don't need to be number one. Right?
I like the fact that both of you are successful in your own accord, in your own way, because I've seen couples where one had meteorical success, and the other one was a very smart person. Everything was going for them, but they had to stop to support. And what you see on the other side is a miserable person at the end, because it was all about the partner that made it big, and it was nothing about them, and they just had to go and be in a sideline where they had a career that they gave up forever. And it was a very miserable life. It's tough, but you guys have something very good going on.
Have you seen the movie The Founder?
Yes.
The McDonald's founder,
yes, exactly.
Right?
It's a great example.
The founder of McDonald's at some point had huge success, and then he came back home, and his wife was just there with no independence of her own. And then he was like, "Why am I with you?" And then he dumped her, and then he went and found.
So imagine if that wife was a doctor, but she dumped the doctor career, right?
Yeah,
and then imagine that, right? So I've seen those. Right?
Yeah,
she's a PhD, a psychologist, whatever it is. She gave it all away for the husband for years, and then at the end they got divorced. He left, and it was a very interesting situation where we were sitting down, and I remember that it was all the men sitting over here, all the women were sitting over there, and the women was. I just started dating my ex at the time, Patty, and Patty was telling me that all they did was talking bad about the guy.
Wow.
And she had no idea that the lady next to her was his wife. And she said, "Wait, so you're his wife?" And he's like, "Yes." And then we all get together, the guys, but between us, the guy's the man. Oh man, we blew up. Nobody thought. And look at this. Now we're sitting down, and then one of the ladies asked one of his employees that was sitting with us. She said, "What do you think about?" I don't want to say his name. "What do you think about John?" And he said, "Oh, I'll take a bullet for him." And then his wife was like, "Oh God, it was not good." So this is good, because no matter what you see, all those struggles you have here and there, trust me, it's beautiful. You guys both are independent, and you're successful in your own.
Well, and you're making some really interesting points, and I'm glad we're talking about this, because part of my, every individual is motivated differently. So part of my motivation for building Dear Alyne, I think you already know this, originally was he was growing so quickly. When we met, we were, I would say on equal footing in most ways, right? Mm-hmm. And once he started growing, I had a fear of this happening, right? Multiple fears. One is, sacrificing your life. I'm traveling the world as he's making Nas Daily. It's not Nas and Alyne Daily. It's Nas Daily. So I'm literally 24/7 supporting him, right? And I'm working with him, and I'm helping him, and I'm traveling with him. I'm booking our flights. I'm helping with script. I'm doing the, assistant role essentially. Yeah. And that was before Dear Alyne existed. So let's say I had continued in that vein. Let's say Dear Alyne didn't exist. First of all, it would be bad for my self-esteem, right? Mm-hmm. I know I'm intelligent, like you were saying. Those women are very intelligent, but I had already seen this example too many times before.
Yes.
And I was like, I am not going to be the person who disappears into obscurity. And we were going to meet people, and I was invisible. And I am just as talented and intelligent as Messiah, of course.
Much more prettier.
No. Hey, we are equal.
We already agreed. It's the
equally
same.
Beautiful.
Equally beautiful.
He's more intelligent in some ways. I'm more intelligent in some ways. We're not the same person.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of value to provide. Yeah. And I was just an invisible human there.
Living in the shadows is not fun.
And so that
you
was
think it creates a
partially
lot of resentment between when
back
there's a couple?
then.
Yeah.
Of course, it can create resentment.
And I would judge people, by the way, based on their eye contact. If they only look at me and they don't look at Alyne for even a split second, I would be very nervous and angry and worried.
It would pressure you, of course, because then it would be like,
I mean, this is why I like you, because your eye contact is the same as you. But I've known you for long.
It's okay.
Mine is better than yours if you didn't
I
notice
made
that.
eye contact too.
You see, I said he was beautiful, and because I eat meat, he doesn't like me anymore.
We like you.
Sorry, you were saying?
No, but I really love that you noticed that, and you're talking about that, and you're even acknowledging the women who, have disappeared into obscurity because of their partners and end up that way, and we're not married. So, if everything ends, I need something that I can have that's mine. Yeah. And Dear Alyne, I stopped growing Dear Alyne, and some people are confused why. The real reason is once I hit around 2-3 million followers, I already have what I need. I have my calling card. Look, I am also valuable. I have something to say as well.
Yeah.
I matter. He has 60 million. I don't need 60 million to have
it's
what
already
I need.
unachievable at a certain point. Like, you know what? The algorithm change. It's not like 2000 that you can still scale. Like, it's after a while, it's already unachievable. And you're like, you know, I'm influential. I definitely don't have to start from nothing. And I am me, and people call me for me. So,
But you've created a safety net for whatever happens.
I've created essentially, I think of it almost as like a business card, right? You sold your company. Now you can say, I sold my company. I'm important. I can sit at the big kids table, right? So whatever, you know, sold all your companies. You have your calling cards. This is my calling card. And my personality can bridge the gap between 3 million and, you know, much more.
million,
I think
10 million.
out of all the, and this is not like obviously not discussing either of you because you're not actually married yet, but out of all the divorces that I've seen, the saddest ones are, again, when just because the average age of divorce, I'm saying usually the wife divorces, hasn't had a career, has been raising kids at home, and now she finds herself later on in life, no retirement
my
option.
greatest
actually,
fear.
you know what?
That's horrifying.
I gotta say, Scott, I've seen coming from the other side because I was in a woman's world. I was in the makeup world. I've seen influencers that are mostly all women, pretty much like 95%, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they're going to be the one that make $500,000, $1 million a year, and they're dating a person that maybe had a job here and there, but they're making 40, 50 a year. So now they're dropping their job to be their assistants.
That happens a lot.
And that
too.
happens a lot. And what happened is in a way, it's an interesting dynamic now because it's new to the world. It wasn't available up until recently, right?
Yeah.
And it is really where you see that the women were the pens there in the men's role. And it is interesting to see what happens.
What happens in those dynamics?
So there are a couple of things. First, sometimes it starts from love, but then you see that in some cases, great, supporting, perfect, you're my man, and that goes on. Sometimes it doesn't go very well because the woman, sometimes by nature, they want the man to be the man, and that's how they were raised, and eventually they lose attraction for the man. And then the other side, which is, there are some examples where the men can technically turn into the gold diggers, and they'll say, all right, she's loaded. Oh, she is. Okay, let me go to her. And they go in and they know what to tell them. And they know exactly what to do. And now the girl feels uncomfortable that she makes the money. So what they'll do is they'll say, I'm going to buy us a little excursion over there. And they're just dumping money. And they can poison the man's mind. And they would say, oh, shit, I don't have to work. I don't have to do anything.
But it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman who makes less money. The point is, as a human being, you should build something you're proud of and live a life that you're proud of.
But it is an interesting dynamic because there's almost zero, I would say, in fact, zero relationships that are 50-50, right? It's impossible. It's impossible. It's not a mathematical equation. You can't have a 50-50 relationship, right?
Yeah, it's very
so
hard.
somebody is going to be sacrificing in some way or helping, whether it's back and forth, right? Sometimes one person works while the other goes to school and then they switch roles. So I think it's very interesting with having the women.
Independent people that have their
It's
thing
happening
going.
more now. I'm thinking of some like big YouTubers, and I know their husbands, and their husbands are now basically editing their videos and helping
Or managers,
them. Managers.
It's very common. It's very common.
But then the question
do,
becomes, what happens when that relationship breaks off?
Yeah.
Right.
I think for
breaks
me,
off.
the reason
If.
why
Positive. If on the odd occasion,
if they live in Miami, it's win.
When
I feel like the takeaway from this is to say, look, the partner, or man or woman, whoever makes it, needs to inspire the other person.
Yeah,
and they also
that's
have to
fair.
ask themselves, all right, if I go to, say, Poppy Steak every week and I drop $1,000 with my friends going out.
He does that.
I know,
Right.
I see your
He-
story.
he did
No,
that.
I don't. I don't do it.
He did that with you. Did that with me.
Well,
You
listen,
dropped a lot of money that night.
I'm giving
if
an
they had
example
a
of
loyalty
relationship.
card,
One
he'd
second.
have all the.
Wow.
So no.
all the
So
stamps.
ideally is that if you're say a female blogger that likes to go in LA to Boa every week and you like to spend, and you meet a person that you know cannot spend that type of money, and twice a year you're going to Mykonos or somewhere, and you know that person can spend. You ask yourself, okay, if I enter this relationship, there's two things that's going to happen. Either he's going to pay or I'm going to pay for him. The third thing is he's not coming with me at all, which is not a relationship. So am I willing to go and pay? You're not technically a gold digger by saying I'm not willing to pay for you. Let me find someone who spend like me. Now that is my belief. Because if that happens, you can have a dilemma. Now that person wouldn't keep up. It's nice to, now you tell me, well, if he's a student, he's about to graduate from med school, he's broke, that just fine. I don't say everything is equal, right? But in general, if you don't see that path, sometimes it's nice if they grow together, and then like what happened with you guys, You say, I'm going to have to grow. It pushed you to grow. And that is odd, right? You push yourself to grow with your partner, and that partner has to support you to grow, not say, hey, hold the camera for me, quit your job. That is not what the partner should do. He said, no, how about you go and you do your own thing, try.
Or it's let's incorporate. Let's go 50-50 on the corporation. You're an equity owner in my business.
Why?
Yeah.
Why
Why
would I
not?
give you 50%?
Because they're doing half the work.
No.
If I'm doing the
I
editing,
disagree.
if
I've
I'm
seen
writing
the
the
side of
scripts,
it. I disagree.
No.
Why would you go and give half the work? I don't need you. I can
I'm
hire
a video
person.
editor. I can find more talent, and I can go create their program.
Here's
their
my
channel.
challenge. That is tradable for a very small salary. If she's already making $500,000, she can find someone for $4,000 a month to edit her videos. She doesn't need him.
But he should still be on the cap table.
Why does it? No, why?
No, he doesn't.
Why does he have to give her? Why does she have to give
Then
him?
why would he quit his job?
Well, listen, I'm not
He
saying
won't
he
quit his
needs to
job.
quit his job. I'm saying
it's a negotiating
I was
point.
saying if he quits his job, it's a different story. But if he
Yeah.
doesn't, if she tells him quit his job, that's your fault. Why did you tell him to quit his job? But what you should say is try to find your own way, because for 50 grand, it's not gonna work. Not for me.
Yeah, this is why I'm against having co-founders. I tried co-founders for 5 years before Nas Daily, and I wanted to build a business with somebody. And I wanted, you take 50, I'll take 50, let's just please build a startup. I tried 6 co-founders, it just never worked. And I had to go solo to try to build this thing, right?
Why didn't it work?
It's just they never put the same effort that I did. They never wanted to.
Even if they were
you know,
to put the time, but in retrospect, editing is a tradable job for very cheap labor. Why
What
would
if the
anybody
person
give
doesn't have
50%?
money? What if they're an early stage
Who the
creator?
hell? Well, no. If she, I'm talking about the ones that make already $500,000 a year. I go to those that got to that point. If we're both starting nothing, we have nothing, we have no followers, we have no money, different story. But I'm talking about the ones that make $500,000 to $1 million a year. Why does she have to give him half?
Because if
There's
he's
no way.
not half.
That's
but
called
what he could-
marriage.
What he could do, well, yeah, if they're married, but what if they're just dating? What if they're just dating and they're not married yet?
Okay.
I would trade the salary for equity points in the business because I'm invested
That
in
would be
long-term success.
that would be a tactical error on her side to give any equity for a labor that in that type. She can
Because you'll
hire a
never get that
secretary. She
level
can
of
hire.
labor. No,
she can
you
hire a
won't.
secretary. Yes, you can.
I would argue it's. I mean, I'm not really taking sides here, but I would argue
She's
it's
stuck with him
not the
forever.
same.
They're not even married. She's stuck with him forever now, and he's partly owner. I've seen
Yeah.
the other side.
Yep.
I have friends
This is
that
a-
have
this is a
had the other
mistake.
side. They have. Oh, my boyfriend wasn't doing anything. I gave him equity. He was supposed to manage stuff. It was nasty and it was ugly and it was stealing from him. But now she's stuck with him, and they're in court, and he's basically leaning stuff on the business. Why? This is nothing. You need to be instrumental to bring in a person as a partner. Either they put money in, or they give you something that you wouldn't have without them. And it's not going to be editing or scheduling your appointments. That's my two.
I love the fact that you guys disagree.
I just
Well,
think
I
it
mean-
depends on. I mean, I've seen.
Did you give half your business to your girlfriend?
No, I had investors. What do you mean?
Like
No,
your
about the podcast.
4-year
Oh
girlfriend?
no, my podcast.
Why don't you give
no.
half the podcast to your girlfriend?
She doesn't do anything for it.
Interesting.
Candidly.
What about
Actually, his girlfriend is very successful. She has like millions of followers.
She has her own
She's
business,
a
yeah.
very, very successful.
How many- how many
well,
followers?
he's speaking, but
She
they're all
doesn't
very
need half your
successful.
What
business.
does she do? What is her followers for?
So she built a huge Instagram following, and then it's a lot of
Based on what?
memes. So
meme
she's the
account.
co-founder of My Therapist Says. Yeah. Yeah.
You know her?
A lot of people know
Yes.
her.
My therapist. I think I've seen her content.
Yes.
The medieval art.
I love.
Yeah.
I will marry her.
She's super chill. She's like incredible.
I will engage to her before you engage to her.
You'll meet her. She'll come
She
for dinner
went up
tonight.
6 months. You say
Yay!
that's
But
good.
so she built that
go.
herself. So she builds that and she
Yeah.
runs that, and it's just like she sells ad space to
That's great.
huge
I'm so
corporation.
excited for
And then
dinner.
I built my show and just on my own, and I
That's the best relationship.
I mean that works really well for us.
Yeah. Hey, look, for me, in my life, I have one rule. I do not want to babysit people. Right? I do not want to babysit my team. I
What
don't
about
want
my
to
kids? Because
babysit.
today, if you don't mind, I want to go out.
I thought I was coming with.
He wants children, but he doesn't want to take care of them.
Well, I only babysit my kids, but I'm not babysitting a girlfriend or a wife, right? Which means a wife has to be independently on her own 2 feet without me,
Yeah.
right? That's it. So
It's funny how you said before that 50-50 doesn't work because I don't know who's actually more successful. Like it's like almost like we're like bouncing back and forth as to who's making more money in a year.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I love it. This is actually also another good example where two power couples, and I've seen this too, right? I've seen power couples that are doing things together, building stuff together, and then it's a very good power dynamic between the two.
It works actually very well.
Yes. Yeah.
Like we're super, super happy. In all seriousness.
Wow.
Yeah. No, there's no stress. There's no stress about like there's no stress about, obviously no stress about money, but I mean, there's no stress about like, oh, like, what are you doing? Like, are you going to put your career on hold? Like, we've completely built our own units, built our businesses separately, hired our own teams. Like,
and they support each other every time
we support
post
each other.
something.
Yeah.
She posts this on my Facebook.
Yeah,
So they're definitely working.
I think
as a
that's an
farmhouse,
important
yes,
key is that they are
absolutely.
supporting each other. And that's
100%.
probably why you're both able to continue growing.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, I'm not helping you. I'm not helping you. This
no,
is
it's
your
never
problem.
not helping.
This is your problem.
So we build our things and we always support, but we're building our things on our own.
Great.
I don't know.
Wow.
I
Works.
love it. I'm so excited for dinner now.
Yeah,
She's way cooler than I am. So.
Yay.
guys, that was amazing. I'm so glad you guys came over.
That's 2 hours.
That's 2 hours. How long you've been?
I don't know.
Probably
I have
even
no
more.
idea.
No, I don't think it's been 2 hours.
No, I think it's been.
90 minutes.
It's 5:21.
Listen, it's almost exactly 2 hours.
Yeah, my biological clock is.
Wow, you're like attuned to the 2 hour
I
mark.
wanted to tell you, like, this is the thing. Like, we're obviously gonna keep talking after the show, but we open up a lot of cool stuff.
That was good.
Yeah.
Nothing cancelable, I feel
You
like.
know why? You know why? I'm
Yeah.
so happy. I'm really happy you came on because you brought a different dynamic that we never get into. We never
Yes.
talk about relationships. We never talk about literally anything outside of business.
Wow.
Thanks for having me. Because I think there's
Yeah.
like less women in business, and I always don't listen. I'm interested in business, but I usually don't listen to business podcasts for two reasons. One, there's very few women, and it's always the same women over and over, which I love them, but it's always like Sarah
You heard
Blakely.
it already,
and-
yes.
Yeah, I'm like, I already know the story. It's always, Girl Boss, Sophia Amoroso, and these people. And then I also think like it's nice to hear, even if I am less successful than everybody here, I think as a female listening, or even as men listening, it's important to hear like the female perspective. And so thank you for
And
including
there are
me.
so many successful women when you look at again, beauty industry. You can bring stories when you bring women who sold their companies. They smoke some men out there. You look at Anastasia Beverly Hills, what she.
Oh, yeah, she's amazing, yeah.
She sold her business. She was grossing $200 million a year to her pocket. She sold it at a $3 billion valuation to TPG. She only sold a third. She took $1 billion, and then the industry went down, fall off a cliff. Talking about momentum, talking about everything. It's like, so people give me all the credit for selling for 500. Like you haven't seen Anastasia.
Yeah.
She built a platform of her own. She had 20 million followers on Instagram, where it
and
wasn't
from
really a
nothing,
thing,
and she's from nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. She came in, escaping Ceausescu over there, and then building an empire over here from eyebrows.
And eyebrows were not even popular
It
before.
wasn't. She made it popular. I've seen her in a makeup event
Yeah.
for 7 hours on her feet doing eyebrows. The line to get to her was hours, and she was all day just doing eyebrows to every person that wanted to buy the product. Yes,
Yeah.
this is some kind
I
of
can't say something controversial, but I'm going not to.
what, eyebrows?
What do you have against eyebrows?
What do you have
I'm
against
fucking
eyebrows?
tired. No offense, but aren't we all tired of just beauty products? Why does every successful female founder either make a product that makes women less skinny or make women hide their acne or
I
their
don't think
skin?
that's really controversial. It's pretty.
But it's just like
A lot of
we
women
need
founders
more
do.
women that build things that have nothing to do with beauty.
Well,
Well, I don't think. Yeah, and I don't think you're blaming
I
women
just came
for
from that
that.
industry,
not-
so
yeah, I know,
that
you
was
just-
my.
I mean,
Yeah.
no. So now we
If I
have
came
men.
from
Now
a-
we have men who are building
Yeah,
things.
I know. I also need men that are not in the beauty industry making money from women. So,
Yeah.
But I also think the beauty industry should be a little bit less big. No.
Well, the beauty
It's-
industry is shrinking. That's definitely a
I think
shrinking
it should
category
shrink.
now. It's been shrinking, but it's not going to go.
Because
it
it's a
was
very,
overly.
the
It was
vanity-driven industry.
Think
it
about it.
was-
Let me
Shrink.
cover my face with chemicals just so a man can look
I
at
wouldn't
me
even-
and be happy.
I wouldn't even say it's vanity driven, because I think the vanity is like a symptom of something else, which is that's it's almost like that's how women feel what they need to do to almost just survive, like in this world. Of course, there's people who do makeup for fun and for,
So there's a social construct as to what you should look like.
Yeah, driven by
Yeah.
men. We should
Yeah.
stop expecting women to put makeup.
That's why I don't want to say anything, because don't want to say anything that's going to cancel you.
None of this is cancelable. This is actually a really good.
You'll hear
we need
people.
2 more hours for this conversation.
You'll hear some people getting very angry over it, where you
Of
say it's
saying
for,
that-
where you say that they're doing it for men, that's when it's going to cause a lot of, well, now we're doing it for ourselves.
That's why you have to look at the individual.
Why do you go to the gym? They'll argue, right? I mean, in a way, everyone does it differently.
Yeah.
Maybe they still do it for men, but they're consciously saying it's not. Maybe they are not.
I know
doing
less
it for men.
about
Who
this
knows?
than me, so I'm not going to say anything. I don't even know your eyes wrong.
Please hold your
like,
silence.
Oh my
What do you
God,
think,
that's
Alyne?
crazy.
Maybe you can speak about this.
I mean, I think this is a nuanced conversation that requires a lot more time, but I would say there's anything we talk about, there is going to be a demographic. So is there a demographic of women who wears makeup because they feel that they have to because of societal pressure? Absolutely. Is there a vertical of women who loves wearing makeup and would wear it if they lived on a desert island alone because they enjoy the artistry of it? Yes. But I do think something I'm interested in learning more about is, anything that only women do and men don't do. I'm curious as to why, right? If it is just an art thing, men are artists. Why are, men not putting
wearing
makeup on
though?
themselves?
No, I don't think so.
Men are wearing makeup more now, but
Yeah.
of course, I mean, straight men are wearing very little makeup compared to women. They're doing like the eyeliner now these days.
Yeah,
like
it's
the kohl.
I think
Well, I see men,
I know why
putting on
Concealer.
nails and
I'll
stuff,
tell you why
too.
men don't
Nail polish.
straight men don't do makeup, I think, because we're different than women. You see, women, when they feel that that's gonna make me look better, I'm gonna put it on. I don't care.
But that's because women's social
women-
currency is their
Yes,
I actually
exactly.
had a really-
Men cannot do. If I'm gonna go and tell you, listen, you have that thing over here, but let's just say you have something.
was like,
Take that corrector. I'm not trying to make you feel insecure, but look what happened to you. You felt that insecurity, right? If you go to a man and say put that corrector, he's never gonna put it because he's gonna go to us and we're gonna make fun of him. It's 100% gonna happen,
But-
right? Women are not gonna make fun of you for where did you get that corrector? And you're gonna tell them and you're gonna go and buy it again because they think different. There was that analogy how women think different than men. And a friend of mine, which was my CTO later on, he used to have a dating site. And he explained to me where when you think about men and women, you said, well, you go to a club, you see a line of people going into the club. A man is going to think about different things than women. A man is going to go and look at all the women. What does it look? What do they look like? A woman is going to think, let me look at the women. Who's my competition? Women are more evolved in that way, and men is just so backward. They don't assess their competition when they're going to see other.
But
and
that's
that is how
because
women are going to go.
historically,
Can I ask a question, though,
women
about this?
depend on men historically.
I want to understand just one more point before, and then I want to add this to the conversation. So I have two really good gay friends, and they always put on makeup before they go out. And I asked them, why do you do it? Because I actually saw them put it on, and I was like, you look the exact same. And it was an argument. Like we were laughing about it, but it was like, well, I used to have acne, and then I started putting it on, and now it's become a routine. So why is it that gay men are okay with putting on makeup? What is the thing that was ingrained in their head?
Gay men traditionally and historically are treated as women. So when you look at gender violence, it's also much higher against gay men because straight men see gay men as almost women, right? So, I mean, there's going to be debate around this, but a gay man generally that's is treated in the category of women.
I've seen a friend of mine dyeing his hair one time. It was, I think, 55, and he dyed his white hair. Me and my guys were in a warehouse. Oh man, we're making fun of him. It was funny. I mean, and he didn't do it again. He's like, my stupid wife telling me to do. She's like, because a wife wouldn't think someone's gonna make fun of him about that.
No,
right?
you're just a horrible person.
I know, I am, but that's why my ex left me. But it was literally like a gay man. You're not gonna make fun of him for that. Absolutely not. So it's just a different social experience. But women are, just my opinion, just more evolved because they understand they're in a competition with women for the men. Men they don't see it the same way.
I mean, I think there's so many conversations we could go into for hours on these, but I think that's also very interesting is because historically men are the providers. Men are the ones with men can vote. Women couldn't vote. Men can have a bank account. Women couldn't have a bank account. In the US, my mom couldn't have a bank account. Only men could have bank accounts and open accounts historically in the US, right? So women had to compete because they did not have another option. So beauty or youth or, family money were the only things that could allow them to survive. Women couldn't even have most high-paying jobs historically. So now for the first time in history in certain, countries and in certain economies, women are able to have, like you're saying, these female makeup artists, these female company owners, to have economic and financial power. So, I mean, it would be interesting to see if in 1,000 years or something, if the tables finally turn and women actually have equal financial power, right? It will take a gajillion generations before that'll happen, right? If women will still feel the need to compete with each other, I think even now women are competing less because we don't need to as much.
I mean, in a way, it's just my opinion. I feel like if a woman is smart and we have chemistry, I don't care if she has money or not.
Well,
I
you
feel like
don't
women,
because you have money.
Will care, but then a woman will care still.
Because she doesn't have money.
Well, no, I feel because she wants. I feel that if women are successful, they still want to hang with a successful person in a way. But maybe I'm wrong. I just think that a man would never really care if she has money. At least I don't see it. But what do I know? It's just my opinion.
But you have to. It's.
Actually, I'm different. I would care.
You would care if she has money?
He does. I had way more money than him when we met.
The biggest attractive thing about her was not her face; it was her bank account.
Really?
Yeah, I'm super attracted to women that have freedom.
Interesting.
I love that.
No, freedom is different.
Financial freedom.
Freedom is different. I want an independent person because that's different. But
do you think that
but not just show me that you're a multimillionaire versus just good. Like that's.
But do you think it's tied to a certain personality?
In me?
I'm asking, like,
it
do you
is.
think that success is tied to a personality that you find attractive? Is it the personality that is the end result, or is money the result of a certain personality?
No, there was this social experiment in which people assigned a number to people. Like there was 10 people, and everybody got a random number from 1 to 10, and you don't know your number, but you have to go and find a mate. You have to pair with somebody, and then what you notice is traditionally what happened is anybody that had the number 10 on their forehead basically became a pair with another 10. And anybody has a number 1 became a pair with another. But they didn't know each other's numbers.
Oh, wow.
That's the crazy thing. It's like, how did we end up 10 and a 10 together? Well, it was somebody with a forehead 10 going around looking for people. And then when I see somebody that's a 1, I'm like, I don't want to pair with you, right? I want to get the highest thing. And so I found a 10 and I catch them. But I wanted a 10 and the 10 wanted a 10.
Oh, so all the good ones connected first.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the high value humans, quote unquote, pair. That's why you see models dating each other. Like stars date each other. So for me, I'm like, okay, I want a 10, and then I want to be perceived as a 10, because if I'm perceived as a 10 in society, I will attract a 10.
Yeah, I think the 10 for some people wouldn't be necessarily the bank account. It would be more symmetrical face features or height or stuff like that.
But
right?
that's a temporary 10. Give it 20 years and then these are gone.
Yeah.
So if you're...
But then don't they say that the reason is that subconsciously your brain is more attracted because you want to reproduce better, so it's like not the bank account.
There's some biological psychology.
Yeah, there's biological
that's very
psychology.
Temporary because then that's not going to maintain a marriage.
Of course
or
not.
a partnership.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I've met very, very attractive women in my life, and the minute we had a 2-second conversation with
you're
them,
like,
I was
I'm done. No way.
Immediately bored.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even become sexual.
Yeah.
It's like all sexual attraction is dead.
Yeah,
So
I agree with
think
that.
intellectual attraction and...
But how pretty were they? Just a number?
On a scale of 1 to 10.
No, I feel the
So
exact
you're
same
not
way.
gonna be
I
mad
feel the
if I
exact
give
same
it-
way. Like somebody who's like sharp and witty and can compete with you intellectually, that's the most attractive. Always. I mean, that's even what you referenced with Patty.
Yeah.
You referenced her as like pushing you, and the reason why you were such a good pair was because she challenged you and
she
the
was
lens
amazing.
at which you look through life. Like that's
I remember where we would have stuff in a box, and she was one thing I can't work with very long are yes people, where I need people to actually tell me the truth. Don't worry about me because I'm not going to judge you. But Patty was my wife, and she was telling me, I don't like your box this month. Your competition box, FabFitFun, was better. I was like, why? It was amazing. Like, no, because I want to see vitamin C serum.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck is that? So like I go in and so then you go and like, fuck, she was right. So all those little things that makes you better. And then and she was saying it. I remember that we had a person that was managing merchandising at the time, and if it wasn't her choice, she would always kill it. And those are the ones that you got to be watching out for, right? Not the one that are open-minded. So we had to let that person go, and then we started plugging in all the stuff that Patty would tell me. Everything started growing, and we would scale very fast. So there was a lot of that part where you got so much respect to the person's opinion because of value. And don't get me wrong, I was arguing with her at first. I wasn't thinking it's going to work. But it wasn't an argument over ego. It was over substance that I thought I have. And when I saw that she won the argument, I was glad that was going over there. So that is very attractive. Absolutely attractive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, I love you guys. And I said before.
Thank you for having us.
No, I mean, I remember in Clubhouse when I opened, I mean, at a certain point, I didn't.
It doesn't make sense that you were all in Clubhouse. Y'all talk a lot.
No,
How dare you?
we're talking on Clubhouse. And they were talking over there, and I said something. The world need more of you guys. You guys doing an amazing job, and I can't wait to see the future. What's coming for you guys? Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
guys.
for coming.
Thank you for
I
having us.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
Really
for
enjoyed the
having us.
conversation. Thank you.
Dude.
Do we handshake? We
Yeah,
are
why not?
handshaking for those in the audio.
No more COVID issues.
Bye.